So the new thing is now the over-under is, will he be 3 or 4 minutes late or potentially 5 minutes late getting on the program here? You have to always remember, it's Big Sills time. Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. Hey, Philadelphia Eagles, I'm glad to see you're a giant fan of the Justice League like Big Sills. But always remember, I'm the King Osabi in this bitch, and people know it. When you want content, you come here, baby. National Football Show, powered by our friends at BetUS. First 15 minutes, get off your asses, hit that like button. What's going on here, man? We can't get past 147? Holy shit, you sound like the Eagle passing game. Let's go. LFG, baby, let's go. First 15, how you doing? And Sue, I'm still pissed at you. She will not put on red bottoms for me. That's between her and I. And by the way, psychos, don't go in the gutter, because Sue starts at free safety for me instead of Reed Blankenship. How you doing? LFG, baby. Hit that like button. I have to say, hey, I really do. There's hope. There's hope. There's hope for Jalen Hurts yet. I saw it today. It was an epiphany. I was like, oh, by the way, Philly 500 will be with us at 4:30. His retort to Mark Holmes will be there at 4:30. Please hit the like button. First 15. Come on, man. I know you're better than 147 in likes. Holy cow. By the way, the reason I ask you for likes is the only thing and super chats, by the way, they all go to the top. This is how we talk every day. This is where you can call out that piece of shit, Joel Embiid. 2-12. Congratulations. What a shitty leader. Holy cow. Jalen Hurts compared to that guy, don't ever put Hurts in that guy's league, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid might be one of the most talented people in sports across the board in the all fours. We don't count soccer. How you doing? He just might be. But he's got to be the worst and lousiest leader of all time. Holy shit, I thought Ben Simmons was a cancer. What you got going on here now with that guy? You need to get that guy out of Philly, because you know what? He's unbecoming of your city. He's unbecoming. That guy is not Moses Malone. Not near. Hit the like button. There's hope for Jalen Hurts, as I digressed. There's hope yet. I saw something yesterday, and it just slipped my mind. If Tyson Hill can be the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, Wildcat Hurts, there's hope. There's hope for you. Tyson Hill has more Player of the Week awards than what Jalen Hurts does. I mean, Tyson Hill is the NFC Player of the Week. Holy cow. Tyson Hill has more Player of the Week awards than your so-called MVP. Holy shit. How's that possible? Congratulations to you, Tyson. What a whale of a performance. Throwing the ball, catching the ball, playing that wildcat. Yeah. Holy cow. If Tyson Hill, there's hope, can be the NFC Player of the Week, there is hope for Wishbone. Jalen Hurts. Yes, sir, baby. Man, I saw that, man, and wow, amazing. Oh, and by the way, I had a request from the Rams. You know my relationship. By the way, Sean McVay's been on this program. We've had Sean McVay on our program. Have we not, Xander? Or maybe that was my radio show that we've had Sean McVay on, the head coach. I thought we had Sean on in the very beginning. That was radio. Okay. I know Sean a long time. Okay? So I sent him a text message. And Kevin Demoff know these guys very well. And I said to you, hey, man, how's it going? And you know what they fired back? Hey, Sileo, we watched your show in our building. And I know they do because Sean and I have been friends for over 20 years. You know what he said? I know you guys like your boys Q and Cooper, but our rookies are better. And I said, well, I think this kid Q is pretty good. He goes, well, Kitchens was just named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week for the second time in 3 weeks. Remember I told you to draft him? He's better than Cooper DeJean. He's better. Watch him. Oh, wait, you'll see him Sunday. You'll see him Sunday. Okay? You'll see him Sunday. He stinks in coverage. The NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Twice in 3 weeks. He stinks, says the ultimate Eagle honk, Xander Big Z Krause. Yeah. Cameron Kitchens. How you doing? Hit that like button, freaks. Appreciate you coming aboard. Kitchens is the safety and your guy's in the slot. I know. Okay? Not better than Q. Kitchens, burnt toast. 2-time. Hey, if your guys are so fucking good, when are they going to win some awards here, man? Guy doesn't even have any picks. Hey, Quinyon Mitchell, no picks. Slay, no picks. Hey, by the way, when you've played against some pretty good wideouts, somebody got 94 yards on him. Godwin had also said somebody got burnt. Who else? I don't know. Somebody got burnt. They put a 30 burger on you. I mean, somebody got beat. Seals, did you say yesterday that Jim Kelly underachieved because he didn't win Super Bowls? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Dan Marino underachieved. Yes. You're not in this for records. You're in it for rings. You don't do this for records. Like fucking stupid ass M. Reyes does. You don't do it for 8-2. You do it for championships. Hey, by the way, I want to give you a quote that I absolutely love from Jared Goff. And I tried explaining this shit to you guys yesterday. Okay? I tried explaining this shit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a direct quote from Jared Goff on what he says about winning. And some of you get it. Some of you don't get it. And some of you will never get it when we make a comment like this to you. This is a professional person's mentality when you're talking about trying to win games. And you're trying to go out there. Jared Goff wants to be, hey, with all the talent that we have on this team, it would be an absolute crime not to strive for perfection. He's right. Some of you in here, like Dick Reyes, is proud of being 8-2. Who cares what the Rams say? It's your next opponent, dickbag. We're not talking about the Arizona Cardinals here. We're talking about your main opponent coming up on Sunday. Stay with me. Try to stay focused, son. Try to stay focused. Look at this. 10-1. Okay? Seals, you're comparing Coop to Dawkins last week. No, I said he hits like him. Talk is cheap. No shit. And so are shitty records cheap. Eat my shorts, Sills. Oof. Wow. What a comeback. That right there, okay? Hey, is like a Jake Elliott uppercut. Kickers don't punch. All right. Hit that like button. Let's go. LFG. All right, so you know where I'm going to start? I'm going to start here. By the way, if somebody doesn't think that Peyton Manning underachieved in Indianapolis by winning only one Super Bowl, Ben Roethlisberger won 2. He won multiple championships in one place. If people don't think that he didn't underachieve with Hall of Fame talent around him, I don't know what else to tell you. Okay? I don't. And by the way, we'll talk about Eli Manning here in a second. I think he's one of the most overrated players of all time. He's a streaky-ass player. Is that guy really a Hall of Famer, first ballot? I don't think so. I don't. Still, he won 2 Super Bowls. I know Jim Plunkett did too. No one. Oh, no. McVay said his guys better. We are scared. His guys are better. His rookies are better. We're going to make the point in a minute here. But before we get there, okay, his rookies are better. I'll make the point, and then you'll debate it with me if you think your guys are better. The Rams are drafting excellent. They got super picks last year, and they got super picks this year. Big C. Why do you think Kitchens is better than Coop? Because he's playing better. 2-time NFC Defensive Player of the Week. If your guy was so good, when's he going to win one of them? This guy's a rookie. He's a rookie, winning not the Rookie of the Week. The NFC Defensive Player of the Week. And he's a third rounder. How you doing? Rams draft great, man. Absolutely draft great. LA's a shitty football city. That I completely agree. Get this. Statistics, that's not a fucking stat. That's earning an award. That's being named by your peers. There isn't nothing statistical about being a player of the week. A lot to choose from. That's not a statistic. That's an honor that has been bestowed on you. Kind of hard when the quarterback is scared to throw to him. It's very fair and easy to see the Rams are much better at drafting and developing overall compared to the Eagles. It's not close. Completely true. But hey, right now on November 21, you guys are feeling good about yourselves. All right, so let's get into this. Thank you, Sinbad. Hey, we're having fun here, man. Guys, hit the like button. We're all good. Hey, I will ask you this, though. Do you know what today marks? Do you know what today marks? It is 1 year ago today, 2023, that the Philadelphia Eagles beat the defending world champion Kansas City Chiefs, 21-17, at Arrowhead, and you ran your record to 9-1. How are you feeling about that team last year at this time? You had just beaten the defending champions on the road. How'd you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Did you think that team was a Super Bowl team too? Did you think they were a Super Bowl team a year ago? Uncertain. Brian says uncertain. You just beat the champs at their own building. That's not true. Don't lie. Why do you feel different at 8-2 right now? Playing lesser opponents. Last year's schedule was way harder than this one. You beat way better quarterbacks a year ago. You beat way better coordinators a year ago. Why are you so convinced this is the team? I mean, why are you so sure now? What's the one difference? It's not the quarterback. This is going to tell you all you need to know about your QB. Your defense. Wait a minute. Hold on, Charlie. I looked it up. You were second in run defense. You were in the top 10 in pass defense. Shit, you were in the top 5 in offense. What's different this year? What's different? Christopher says you have Saquon. Oh, you mean your quarterback's not playing better? Oh. Vic and Saquon. Oh. Isn't that funny? Why would I be hyped over a regular season win and we lose to them in a game that means the most, the more the season before? I get it. No. I'm asking, why would you? I'm asking you about how you feel about this group right now. Why are you changed now where you think this is a better team than a year ago? I feel much better this year compared to last. You can see and feel the difference, the quality and consistency of defensive play. Okay? You're the only one that said Peyton didn't win more chips with that talent. Eli's not a first ballot, but his last name will help. You're the only one that said Peyton didn't win more chips with that talent. So, hey, Sean, sorry, but you had 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers and a Hall of Fame running back and a 10-year offensive coordinator and a 10-year offensive line that was intact and a Hall of Fame coach in Tony Dungy. And you win 1 Super Bowl and you think he, what, under or overachieved? I mean, don't you think he should have won more? And he was 1 game over 500 in the postseason. You tell me. Andres, difference from last year is we had the same problems all year and eventually came back to bite us. This year, I don't see those same problems. How do you know that? You're playing lesser opponents. You're playing lesser people. Last year, you played playoff Dolphins, playoff Rams, playoff Bucks, the world champions, playoff Bills, playoff Niners. You played all those playoff teams. How many playoff teams have you played this year? Green Bay, maybe Atlanta, and Washington, right? I agree with you, Seals, about Peyton, not against you, who gets tough reps. I don't know, maybe Jalix Hunt, I guess, or maybe Nolan Smith picks his. I don't think that's a good idea giving Nolan Smith more reps. I don't think his body can handle it. I'd be careful of that. You don't have enough depth out there. That guy's not big enough. If you start giving Nolan Smith more reps, his production will go down. I told you the same shit about Bryce Huff. The more you play Nolan Smith, the less production he'll have. So trust me when I tell you that. He's not ready to play 65 plays a game. He's just not ready. I feel uncertain because the run game wasn't as good as it is, and the linebackers weren't as good. That's a true fact. The linebacking core is playing much better, and it was musical chairs a year ago. Just if you just look at the personnel, musical chairs. Still, if we beat Ravens and Steelers, would it be enough for you to buy in? Rams, Ravens, Steelers, yeah. And Washington, yeah. I don't believe we're a Super Bowl team right now. Jalen has to get better. I need to see more against better opponents. Absolutely true. But guys, please hit the like button. But we still haven't proved it this year. We'll know after the Steelers. Probably. Hey, and by the way, it'll depend on your health too, on who's still standing. The 49ers will be sitting home watching the Eagles dominate. I'm not there yet. Bill to ask Sunday, Sileo missed me with your takes trying to tell me my birds are not good. No, I'm trying to tell you don't know who your birds are yet. You've played fucking nobody. Every week it's something. I'm not about to listen to you trying to tell me we're about to lose to the Rams. Of course not, because you're just great. Use your eye test. The defense is way better than last year. Why? You were second in rush defense last year at this time, November 21st. You're actually better against the run now than you were a year ago. And your pass defense was still in the top 5. You had shut down Justin Jefferson. I mean, you're lying. You're talking about the back end when you had the collapse. November 21st last year, this time, you were 9-1. And you had beaten significant teams. And you had just beaten the world champs on their own yard. And you're telling me you feel better coming out of Washington than you did coming out of Kansas City? That's a fucking lie. An absolute lie. You feel better about this team. You're trying to tell me that if you come out of a game, that you go on the road and you win in Kansas City, you feel better about your team being 8-2 than 9-1, beating the world champion Chiefs in their own building. You can't be more of a liar. How stupid. Can't even tell the truth here. Truth, justice, big sills. Defense was still trash. The fuck were you watching? You were 9-1. You had shut down Mahomes. What do you mean was I watching? You were the ones posting 10-1 all day long. M. Reyes posted 10-1 for me, baby. You would go on to win one more football game. Come on, man. Come on, man. You even admitted the team looked shaky as hell. Oh, I know what I said. I'm throwing it at you. Oh, I know what I said. See, I'm not contradicting myself. I know what I was watching. You didn't. You were the one posting 9-1. Like you are now with 8-2. You're the ones that didn't know. That wasn't me. I knew what I was watching. I knew it. I'm not fucking talking about last year. I'm talking about this team, dickbag. What makes you feel better about a football team coming out of Washington playing a lesser schedule than you did coming out of Arrowhead? Holy shit. You lie. Wow. I can't believe people now are lying in here. Fucking don't you remember? Wind the tape back. I had people on my own network questioning me because I was ripping them at 9-1. Holy shit. Wow. Flip flop. Flip flop. You're lying. Holy shit. Caught you all in a lie. Woo! Shit, all you got to do is go back and look at all the posts that M. Reyes and everyone else did going 9-1. You're just a hater. I was like, no, I know what I'm looking at. And this is why I say here on November 21st, 2024, hang in there. I'm saying the same shit I did a year ago. Nothing's different. No, I just got to the point. My point's been the entire season. Get to the point. Someone asked me, Sills, what do you think of the team? Hey, I think you got a really good roster. I said it after Washington. I think your quarterback's a C+ dude at best. That's his ceiling. He ain't getting any better. That's the football team you have right now. Now the question is, are you going to be healthy down the stretch? Your quarterback's not going to get any better. Ever. They can't handle the true Sills, the backpedaling. Yeah, you're all backpedaling. Why are we having the same We're not having the same fucking convo. You didn't play Kansas City last year, dickhead. Hey, Cooch, November 21st, 2023. Do you feel better coming out of Washington about this team than you did coming out of Arrowhead? We've been talking about that for what? 4 weeks now? Coming out of Arrowhead? I just came up with that topic right now. The fuck are you talking about? Think you had your head in the cooch too long. So far, the Steelers have beaten 500 or better teams, which are the Falcons, Ravens, Washington, Broncos, and Chargers. And then the Chiefs will be later. Abe, I told you a couple days ago, there ain't a team in the league I'm sold on. There's not a team in the league. I understand your point, but if the opponents I feel better because we upgraded everywhere but edge. Yeah, the performances are playing better. Yes. M. Reyes, we are the same shaky team making questionable calls on both sides of the ball. You think your fucking offensive play calling is good? With your head coach? Really? You're making the same shitty play calls on offense. We don't also add Patricia in the building. Now, that's a good take. Get this, I'm sold. I'm sold on what? Hey, Richie, hook me up. What are you sold on? I just would like to, what's the excuse going to be after the Eagles take the Rams out to pasture? You ain't taking anybody but two shitty teams out to pasture. Says, how come Mark Holmes looks like he made a bet with himself and he won't shower until the Eagles win a championship? Holy cow, man. That guy will be like he was in like Hanoi Hilton or like he's in some sort of like prison camp, not taking a shower, dog. Okay? They're going to be the Phillies. 49ers have to pay Purdy $50 million. Yeah, I doubt it. 8-2 means more than a Super Bowl. I know, man. I know. So the difference between this year and last year is they took the ball out of Hurts' hands. Ooh. It's working, and a handful for any defense. I followed you the whole 2023 season, so I know what you see. Correct. Thank you. Thank you, Travis. This is really cool. Talking about PDOY, it's hard for Q to win an award whenever people don't throw to him. I'd rather my DB not have to have the flashy highlights if that means he's locking them down. He's the best rookie this year, no question. He ain't winning that thing. You're in Philly. They're in LA. Remember that. That's why Zach Bond's not winning. Zach Bond has played better than any linebacker. You could have had him win the Defensive Player of the Week award numerous times. Has he won it once? Was it Green Bay? Did he win that for Green Bay? Did he win one yet? Players aren't voting for him. They might next year. I know how Pro Bowl works. Says, why do you doubt the 49ers won't have to pay Purdy $50 million? Because if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, that'd be the best thing in the world for John Lynch and the family, because they'll come back to him and say, you didn't make the playoffs this year, dude. And I know you need to be better than that. And if you don't make the playoffs, it costs him $10 million. I feel better after I see a performance over the next few weeks. The vibe is different this year. Very true. At least I see that. I do that. You're right. Last year's vibe stunk. You're right. It looks like they're having more fun this year. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I love how they love Howie. He could do no wrong. This just in, Bryce Huff. The fact that you qualified the award with located instead of performance shows that it means nothing. Really. So you think a rookie winning the NFC Defensive Player of the Week 2 times out of the last 3 years is just some bullshit award? Well, I'll tell you what, that player will not say that because it's a $75,000 incentive every week that he wins it. We will smack the Rams. Their goalposts will move. Zach Bond went DOP 2 times. Okay. Sills, Plus, this year, they are not playing down to their competition. Really? Like Browns and Jags? I must have missed those performances. We were a dynasty, 2010 and 24. No, you weren't. You were a dynasty, 81 through 96. You were not a dynasty, 2010 and 14. You were a dynasty, 91, 92 through 96. That's when you were a dynasty. You were an Eagle dynasty from 2010 to 2014. A lot of wins, no titles. They're playing down. Dumb comment. Philadelphia is a better sports town than LA. Dude, Angelo. Passaic, New Jersey is a better sports town than Los Angeles. Okay? Passaic, New Jersey is a better sports town than LA. I mean, Ramir Sills, around this time last year, Sam had 319 and 4 TDs. The Passaic Indians. Okay, I mean, are you kidding me, man? Hey, by the way, I'd rather take the New Jersey Turnpike, get off at the Vince Lombardi rest stop, go there, have a Roy Rogers, get back in my car, and hit the Turnpike again. The only fucking thing I hate about the Jersey Turnpike is that I got a guy in white gloves that fills my gas. I hate that. I don't want a guy filling my gas. I don't want that. I hate that, okay? Take that guy's ass out of there. I don't know why they do that. Guy has to fill my gas tank on the Turnpike all the time. Makes me fucking nuts every time I do that. Holy shit. I mean, I'm going to go to Lombardi's. I'm going to get a Roy Rogers. Then I'm going to get back on the Turnpike, get gas, and have a guy pump my tank. Give me a break. Fucking nuts. Every time I go up on the Jersey Turnpike, my wife goes, how come the guy's got to pump gas? I don't know. It's been that way since I was a kid. Okay? Hey, it's been that way since I was a kid. I don't know. Love Roy Rogers, dog. I'm good. Their burgers are good. I like the fries are not. The McDonald's has the best fries. Okay? Get this. Why do you all value this cause of racist opinion? Deshay, eat a dick. Sills, I truly think the offense changed after Covey got hurt because we were using him as WR3. Well, he's back. The great white hope. Yeah. Answer the question. If they are as bad as you, I'm not saying they're bad. How'd they get the record they have? Bill Parr says you are what your record is. Different team than last year. You were 9-1 last year. You had a better record. You are what you were. You weren't. Bill Parcells is full of shit. Anthony, you weren't what your record was. Anthony just validated my take. Bill Parcells says you are what your record is. Yeah, you were 9-1 and you fell apart. You weren't a 9-1 team. Thanks, Anthony. Way to go. Let me give you a Howie. Yeah. Well, at least he's not pissing in your tank. I don't know that. I don't trust anybody that whispers, stands in the dark, and fucking fills my gas tank up. And you only get that on the Jersey Turnpike. I've never seen it anywhere else. Says, how come when Jalen goes to the bench, he has nobody to talk to him? He looks with that stupid-ass look on his face. I don't know. It's a good question. He seems dumbfounded. You see the Giants Had Daniel Jones playing scout team safety at practice. Dude, you see what Dexter Lawrence said? Thought it was bullshit. He got benched. They got all kinds of problems in New York. And if you're an Eagle fan, you're loving what you're seeing. That organization is completely imploded. I can't believe that's the New York Giants that I grew up around. I grew up around Wellington Mare. I can't believe what I'm watching. And if you're an Eagle fan or you're a Commander fan / Redskin fan, you're loving what you're fucking watching in New York. That's an absolute train wreck. Last year I didn't have as near faith as I do now. Why? Why do you have more faith, Main Black? Tell me. Says I do trust guys with 2 first names. I don't trust guys with 2 first names. All right. I like that metric. I'm good. What happened to the standard? What standard is that, Keith? Coming up short? Sills picks his feet in Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie. What's a bigger shithole, Poughkeepsie or Patterson? I don't know. Don't talk to me about that area of the country where you are and all that. I know fucking that place like the back of my hand. Don't talk to me like that. Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie's got some great restaurants, though. I will say that. And some pretty good Italian food in that place. In that bitch. I've been there, man. 23 looked like smoke and mirrors all year. It did. This year doesn't look as much. We're playing lesser people, though. I live in Patterson for 7 years. And what happened? You caught too much flatfish and you caught too much flounder because you're out there with Barrett Brooks. You opened up an Atlantic fish market. Now you're selling your fish and your scoongeels and your galamad. And now you're out there doing what? You're a big man now. Let me guess. You live over near where? Baltusrol? Holy cow, this guy's he's an aristocratic guinea now. Birthday boy is worse. Birthday boy. Holy shit. You guys know, a lot of you know the area. Very nice. I'm glad to see that. No offense, but I'll take the Super Bowl winning coach and Bill Parcells' advice over Jeff. Hey, dude, what? You just told me Bill Parcells said that you are what your record is. So, Anthony, answer the question. Were you what your record was at 9-1 a year ago this day? Were you or were you not, Bill? You'll always get my attention when Scoogeel off Madison Avenue. Your big school. Scoogeel is probably my favorite food on the planet than lobster and calamaris and galamad. White guys say calamaris. Anybody from where we're from, they say galamad. But white folks go calamaris. Marinara calamaris. Yeah. Marinara calamaris. Hey, Sills, you want some fried calamari? No, that's all right. Oh, man. So, yeah, here, let me close this topic up. We're going to move on. James Jones, how you doing, brother? Okay. Sills ordered clams at Hooters. Major violation. I fucking love seafood, man. The Birds are now just 2.5-point favorites, down from 3. What's moving the line? The Rams being healthier. Do you think it will be close? This looks like Easy Money. Oh, we're going to get to that. That was a hell of a movie, too, Easy Money. I love Dangerfields. By the way, I used to go to Dangerfields for my birthday. My boys took me. Sileo's a white guy. No, Sileo's not a white guy. Sileo's an Italian guy. There's a difference, Bruce. You're some white guy. Big Sills is an Italian. Italians aren't white. It's not like we're 9-1. We didn't play anyone last year. You played everyone last year. We beat Dallas, the Bills, Kansas City, Dolphins, Rams. Okay? That record was great at 9-1. It was the collapse internally. All right. I'm Mexican, homie. Love Mexicans. Can't lie. And Cubans. Sills is less Italian than the Karate Kid. Let me tell you something, Hoss. There's nothing not Italian about me. Sills gets no respect. How you doing, JB? All right. Do I think you're better than you were a year ago right now? Can't believe you trust Hooters clams or seafood. Man, I've been with those people for 45 years. I like those folks. All right. Do I think you're better this year than you were a year ago at this time? Your quarterback's not. He's regressed. Your running game is way better. Your defensive line, your edge rushers are kind of okay. Your tackle's great. Your linebacker plays much better. Your secondary has a lot of upside. Quarterbacks you played this year, Love, Cousins, Burrow, Daniels. Mayfield crushed you. So there's more upside. There's more upside this year. There is. Do I feel better? No. I feel about the same. We'll see. Seals, two real issues that may be exposed over the next 4 weeks. Rams, Ravens, Steelers all have real coaching staffs. Our inability to get our wide receiver 2 regularly involved in our offense will be a problem. Oh, how you are now reading my mind, Bob. Bob has taken us to topic number 2. Let me check this off. We are rolling here. By the way, please hit the like button. Here's my hit list of advantages heading into this Rams game. Rams are a good litmus test. Okay. Hey, Bob, because you have a lot of impartial takes here, okay? And most of the people in here just lied about feeling better about last year, beating the world champions. They feel better about beating a rookie quarterback with this team now than they did a year ago at 9-1. They're lying. So we caught you in a lie. Okay, I'll accept it. You can't face the truth, many of you. So that's okay. So here, this is going to be, Bob, you tell me. We're going to do a little checklist. All right. Yes, Bob. Here we go. Advantage, disadvantage. Super chats go to the top. Bullshit. Devontae's gimpy. Also, Hurts has not regressed from last year. Yes, he has. Why would they take the ball out of his hands? You don't take the ball out of the hands of an elite quarterback. You take players around him away. Stephon Diggs is going to expose Josh Allen. No, he's not. He's going to make him a better ball player, like I said it did. Boom! Now he's top candidate for the MVP award. I told you Allen would be a better ball player without Diggs, and he is. How you doing? He's excellent versus the blitz this year, and your passing offense is 23rd. Yeah, you're right. Your passing team and your passing game looks great. Look at this guy. What a fucking liar. Another one. Another lie. You guys are lying all day here. All right. Bob, help me out here. Let me get this stupid take off here. I don't want to look at this bullshit. All right. Advantage? Disadvantage. Shall we? All right. Xander calls me a professional antagonist. I don't know what that really means. If that means asshole, I'm probably it. All right. Here we go. Hit the like button, guys. Thanks for the super chats, though. Bob, I'm going to be counting on you and your honesty. Okay? Quarterback heading into Sunday's game. Hurts, Stafford. Check. Rams, Stafford. Maybe one of the top 8 players in the world at that position. Check. Stafford. Running back. Saquon Barkley. Eagles. Check. Wide receiver 1. A.J. Brown over Cooper Kupp. AJ is my favorite wide receiver in the league. So I'm going Eagles. Wide receiver 2, I'm going Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua over Devontae Smith. Boom. I'll take wide receiver 2. You know why? Because you're not getting the ball to Devontae. You're not getting it to him. Your quarterback has not gotten the ball to him. Stafford gets the ball to him. Hello? Anybody home? Number 3 wide receiver. By far, check. Fucking Rams. There's a kid named Robinson who's going to get 41 catches for 680 yards and 9 touchdowns this year. You get dick out of wide receiver 3. So far, the quarterback, the second wideout, the third wideout, all belong to the Rams, not the Eagles in the passing game. How you doing? You get nothing. Nothing from wide receiver 3. You also, they have a better wide receiving core than you. It's deeper. All 3 guys catch the fucking ball. All 3 guys have a quarterback that can read a defense. The Rams have superior talent than you. They've just been injured this year. So you're going into a football game with better skilled people than anybody you've played this year. Bob, am I right? Seals, keep this in mind. If we use Barkley the way we have, it will reduce the advantage Stafford has. Correct. Run the ball. I'm not saying that, Bob. It can't be as big of an advantage on the bench watching Barkley run. Correct. 40 carries again. Bob, I'm not listening to anybody else. I'm listening to you. Am I off base when I said this? The Rams have the advantage at quarterback. They have the advantage at wide receiver 2. They have the advantage at wide receiver 3. And they have a better wide receiving core in depth than what the Eagles do. Fair or not? Is that fair? Agreed, Sills. We have struggled against every veteran quarterback this season. Bob, spot on. Haven't gotten to the staff yet. Bob's jumping the gun. So, as a skill set passing offense, the Rams are superior to you. Okay? Does that equate to a win? No. It equates to a challenge. I'm not saying the Rams are winning. I'm saying it's more of a challenge than what you think. Dude, your quarterback is not a better passer than Matthew Stafford, and he fucking never will be. The Rams are deeper at wideout than you. conversation. Sills will keep up this stick until the Eagles lose guys. Wait a minute. Is that, hey, Bob, is that stick when I say that Stafford's a better passer than Hurts? That's a stick? Or that Cooper Kupp is more utilized in an offense because the quarterback can get the ball to him more than Hurts gets the ball to Devontae? Or that the third wide receiver is going to have almost 700 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns? Is that fucking wait a minute. Is that a stick? Really? I think those are facts. Those are facts. Calling Puka a more skilled player than Smitty. That's not what I said. I said that guy gets the ball more because the quarterback is more skilled than your guy. Okay? I didn't say that. Devontae Smith on a team like the Bengals is a 1,500-yard receiver. Not in Philly, he's not. Your quarterback barely finds him. How can you be a top-flight number 2 receiver in an offense when you have fucking days where you're minus 2 yards receiving or 1 catch for 14 yards? How is that finding him the ball? Seriously, how is that finding him the ball? Dude, it's not about Smitty being better. It's about Stafford being better. You're missing the point, dickhead. It's about the quarterback being able to find guys open because he's skilled at it. Man, this ain't got nothing to do with being better. This has got everything to do with the quarterback being better. Dude, a guy like Stafford can make a guy like Robinson look like a top-flight wideout. Why? Because he's one of the most skilled guys at progression reading. Your guy's a bum at progression reading. Facts. Oh. O-line. Eagles. But you know, hey, Bob, tell these folks. But you know the one thing? Xander, tell these folks. Do you know how Matthew Stafford makes his own line not as good as yours? But do you know why Matthew Stafford makes his O-line very competitive and one of the better looking groups? Why is that? Why is that, Xander? Why is it that Matthew Stafford helps his O-line out, making them one of the better units? Why? Why? How does he do that? He's third in the league in the amount of time he holds the ball in the pocket. He's one of the top guys in the league. Gets the ball out, 1-5. Your guy stands back there like he's a Statue of Liberty. That's how he makes his O-line better. Hurts is 71% versus the blitz at 24. Then why is your passing game 23rd? Big Sills, I was wrong and you were right. Your job is not to win the room. You're 100% correct. I just saw Colin Cowherd say the same thing recently. Colin does a great show. Didn't we whip the Rams' ass last year? Should it? Didn't the Bucs kick the fuck out of you last year? Sills, the issue between Smitty and Puka is not skill. It's how they are utilized. Correct. It's the quarterback. Utilizing Puka opens up wide receiver 3. Not feeding Smitty is what makes our number 3 irrelevant. Correct. It's the quarterback. Matthew Stafford uses every single asset he has in his huddle. Hurts doesn't. He barely uses the tight end. When those 2 wide receivers are on the field, the only guy that gets fed is AJ, and then sometimes Devontae. When Stafford's on the field, everyone gets fed. And that makes it a tougher cover, especially with the pre-snap motion and post-snap motion. That guy's more skilled than you think. I'm not saying you're going to lose. I'm saying if you think that's going to be an easy challenge Sunday, you're out of your minds. Stafford, get this. Let me go here now. Hey, Bob, check this out. So you guys were all saying Vic Fangio versus a rookie quarterback, right? How about a Super Bowl winning quarterback with the skill of Stafford versus rookies in the secondary? I'll take the skilled quarterback. If Justin Herbert was on this team, it'd be a dynasty. With proper coaching, yes. I say the same shit. What's the same? What have I said right now that I said that's anything different? And if I'm being consistent about the player, your quarterback versus Stafford, Stafford's not Jaden Daniels. Stafford is where Burrow is on reading defenses. He's that kind of player. They didn't have Higgins that day to offset Jamar Chase. Well, they got 2 dudes and 3 dudes, really. I'm not saying you're losing. Not saying you're losing. It's all the same shit. Whatever, guy. It's because you hear what you want to hear. Stafford, with a healthy team, was a top 5 quarterback in this league. No question about it. Arm talent, pre-snap, post-snap. He's a special thrower of the football. Absolutely correct. That's a brilliant take. That's my point. Hurts will never be the quarterback as a passer in this league to what Stafford's skill set is. It's okay. He does things and he does differently and he approaches the game differently. It's a different skill set. But that guy is the prototypical player that you want running your offense. Utilizing all your skill set. Why? Get this. Jalen Hurts doesn't fit the offense. How can you have all this skill and a guy who can't get the ball to all that skill? Did you ever wonder that? Stafford gets the ball to everyone. Don't you want that kind of quarterback in your huddle? Or no? Now, if you want to be a running team, okay. Why are you paying a running back? Why are you paying wide receivers? Your guy can't get the ball to all these guys. He just can't. Fangio has played against Stafford a lot over the years. He'll get the defense prepared for Sunday night. A lot of young players back there. So wait a minute. You tell me Vic Fangio is good against a rookie quarterback. And now Stafford's going against young secondary guys. Vic Fangio had experienced guys. He didn't have rookies like this. You're talking about rookies back there now versus a player like this. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying that's going to be an interesting challenge. Once again, see this right here? Where is it? Rams are a different team right now because they're healthier. Just watch the passing game will come. Said the same thing at 22. And they torched the Titans and Giants back-to-back, launching them down the field. 3,200 passing yards, 3,500 passing yards is not prolific. Still, this week's chess match is how the strength of the D secondary can confuse Stafford. The inconsistent pass rush may hurt us. We need to move Stafford off his point. Correct. Let me continue. O-line. Eagles. D-line. Rams. Fisk is on pace for 8.5 sacks. Kobe Turner's on pace for 9 sacks. Verse is on pace for 8.5 sacks. They're going to have 3 guys in the D-line potentially with double-digit sacks. Who you got? Sweat? Who else? Who else? Who else? Carter? Probably 6. They got 3 guys that are going to be approaching 10 sacks this year. 2 of them are rookies. Linebackers. Eagles. DBs. Eagles. Coaching. Rams. So, 5 advantages for the Eagles. 5 advantages for the Rams. And they're at home. And they're at home. Carter's better than all those dudes. It's not what I said. Carter's one dude. They have 3 dudes. Carter can't do it by himself. They got pass rushers. Jordan Davis is a marshmallow. Hey, by the way, Kobe Turner's a better ball player than him. They came out together, I think. No, he came out with Carter. Kobe Turner's a better player than Jordan Davis. Led all rookies last year. By the way, that includes Jalen Carter in sacks. He had more sacks last year and had a better season a year ago than Carter. I missed the super chat. Stafford is good with his eyes and his feet. He'll make your young guys make critical mistakes. That's where Vic's coaching comes in. I heard what you said. I said Carter is still better than them, regardless if they are better overall. Read. I did read it. And I made a point to you. Great. I gave the advantage of the D-line to the Rams because they got better pass rushers than you. Okay, you got better linebackers, you got better DBs, and they got better coaching than you. By far. You got a better quarterback. They're at home. And once again, I'm not telling you the Rams are winning. Not yet. But I am telling you, this is gonna be a little tricky. Bold prediction. Jordan Davis breaks out and has a breakout game. Where? Nintendo? He has a breakout game in Fortnite. So how JD on a Super Bowl team, if the playoffs haven't started yet, I'm sorry? Yeah. Stafford can't move pressure. Pressure him, wins this game. Yes, Nick. Get him off his point. By the way, Nick, here's the problem you have, though. You're playing zone coverage, man. So let me say this to you here. Hey, Nick, let's do this. So are you really going to do this? I'm going to draw something up here for you. Here's the Rams offense. Got a guy out here, guy in the slot. You got another guy out here. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Okay? So let me ask you this. When your corners are 10 yards off the ball, cornerback 2, cornerback 3, or cornerback 2, quarterback 1, free and thrown. Let me ask you this. When you got Matthew Stafford right here, and you're playing 10 yards off the ball, and you're allowing these wide receivers to run and get open space in here, and you're not jamming Cooper Kupp, and you're not jamming over on this side, and you're not jamming Puka Nacua coming across the middle, and you're allowing all that space, you think Stafford's going to find them? Yes or no? Bob, look at what this is going to do here. You got Puka Nacua and you've got Cooper Kupp with a 10-yard start. Oh, so get this. You don't have press corners. We're going to press more? You don't have press corners. That's not what he plays. He doesn't press corner. Not at all. That's fucking not true. We're going to press. You don't have press corners. You got zone corners. Don't start making shit up that you haven't done this year. You do this every week. We're like 4-6. Hey, Anthony, you don't play Matthew Stafford in a quality offense every week. You play bums every week. I haven't said you're not going to win. Seals, would you say Stafford is like Purdy? Absolutely not. He is way better than Brock Purdy. So, Seals, how easy do you think it would be for Fangio to figure out how to defend that BS you just drew up out of your ass? You're not going to defend it. You're just going to make sure that you don't get beat deep and that you're going to have to pressure the quarterback. This is a pressure game, like one of the guys said. That's what that bullshit means. Matthew Stafford's going to throw for about 300 yards in this game. The question will be if you get to him like you did with Burrow. If you get to him like you did Burrow, that number will come down. But if they're able to run the ball, they got a back who's on pace for 1,300 yards. But if he gets going, and I'm not sure he will, it'll be an all-day close game, fourth quarter game, like most of your games are. Okay? But again, they're a very young football team that's been injured all year. And they're starting to come into their own. They're getting healthier. They've got exceptional coaches on that coaching staff. The Rams have always had it once they got rid of that loser that they had there prior to Sean McVay. I mean, once they got rid of that loser and they put Sean McVay in there, they've had quality coaches in there for a long time. I mean, Guantanamo Bay and the Flying Frenchman. Game already over, Big Sills. Is that right? Sills, look at this Miami game. Puka had almost 100 yards, and Stafford had 80%, 0 TDs. Stafford is always going to get his numbers, but we will bend, not break. That's the style of defense he's going to play in this game here. Got to pressure him. Sean Desai's on that D staff. You bet he is. You bet he is. Oregon, Yoki. Defense hasn't given up 300 yards all year. No, you were just crushed by the Bucs. Stafford is, you're always going to get the numbers. Jake, we get them to the Dungeness crab claws. Stupid. Bob, you're really good today. Credit to Bob Brown. They're going to dink and dunk all game. Tackling will be huge in space. Absolutely. They got a way better coaching staff than you. Sales coaching offense, Rams. Coaching defense, Eagles. Yes. Bob, this is why I'm saying closer game than you think. Barkley, once again, will be the key because your quarterback is not good enough. Your QB is not good enough. Spread the ball around. See here. Dude, your attitude, totally Philly. You fit in. Don't give an inch. Yeah. I've never found a place that's more assholes than me or as many assholes as me. It's great. Commanders had a better coaching staff too, huh? Yeah, they did. And they do. Kellen Moore hasn't improved your offense, guy. Where are you fucking been? Well, yeah, thanks a lot, Kellen. Way to improve a running game that's been great for 14 years. Kellen Moore's been a failure. He's been a failure. Hey, thanks, Kellen, for improving our running game. Don't you give – who do you give – wait a minute. Hey, how about this one? So who do you give credit for the running games improving to? Howie Roseman or Kellen Moore? Who are you giving more credit to? Howie or Kellen for improving your run game? Don't say Stoutland. He's been there for 10 years. Who are you giving more credit to? The signing of Barkley or Kellen? You've been fucking good already. You've had 2 Pro Bowlers the last 2 years in the building. Kellen Moore hasn't done dick for that offense. Nothing. He's done nothing. Do we know who coaches the offense yet? We kind of dropped the topic. I have no idea. Sometimes it's that wacky bald eagle, and then the other time it's the librarian, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore reminds me of a librarian. The general manager reminds me of a CPA. The cheap man's version of a CPA. Except he got the numbers wrong on Harper or on Huff. It's going to be a blowout. Watch Sil's excuses now. Oh, Rams are too young. They are young. Here, take a look at the Rams and their depth chart. They've got 5 rookies starting. 1, 2, 3. They got 4 rookies starting on their defense. They do. It's a young team. It's not an Eagle problem. They're just a young team. You have 4 rookies starting on a team that was banged up all year. I think they're good. I think they draft well. I mean, I think they completely draft well. They rarely miss on picks. And they rarely miss on trades. They do a really nice job, man. And I think it's got a lot to do with the head coach and the general manager and the football operations guy, Kevin Demoff and Sean McVay. Demoff and Les Snead. Those guys do a nice job in the building, man. They're pretty good personnel people. Sills, the talent for the Redskins is less than the Eagles, but the Skins coaching is more experienced than the Eagles. Yeah. You win a lot of games because of your talent and because of the roster, not that shitty coaching, and not the defensive side I'm talking, and not your old line coach. I think Nussmeier's okay, but there's been no impact on that passing attack whatsoever. It's very average and very predictable and very, you know what? Very collegiate. Your passing offense is like college offense. Not a lot of creativity to it. Stop giving the Rams, we're better all year. You're better all year? Really? Who gives a shit? It's football. No shitty. No. Injuries are not part of it. So don't make excuses why your passing game blows then. Sills, do we kick or go for 2 since Elliott has been missing easy kicks? I'm not giving up on that dude. One more game. He starts kicking uprights and he starts missing shit. I'm starting to think about being more aggressive on short yardage and down in the red zone instead of going for the field goals. I'll start doing that, but I'm not bailing on that guy. I need that guy. You're going to need Jake Elliott in the postseason to be Jake Elliott. If he misses a couple kicks against Washington, I'm not going to fret on this. Could it have cost the game? Yes, I get it. But, dude, you need to not have musical chairs at the kicking game when point differential in this league is 3 points. You can't start panicking. like you did a year ago with your coordinators. Don't panic. Okay? Big Seals, you're right. We never really had our way with the Rams. This isn't a walk in the park on Sunday. Hey, Tats, I'm not saying you're not going to win. I'm not saying that. Traveling across the country, you're a 2.5-point favorite. To me, I think it's a push and a pick'em game heading into this week. Rams are pretty healthy now since the first quarter poll, first 4 games of the year. They're a better team. Their younger guys are playing better. I think it's going to be a hell of a test. Their skill set people as a group are better than yours because of the quarterback. Your running back is superior to theirs. But the running back's having a great year too. He's on pace for 1,300 yards too. Not Barkley stuff, but that's not awful. I mean, the kid's on pace for 14 touchdowns and 1,300 yards. He's not awful. I mean, he's better than Sanders and DeAndre Swift was a year ago. And plus, you've got those 2 wideouts and the quarterback. I mean, that's a good skill set group. Seals, watch the tape on the Rams. When they send Kupp and Puka on mid-range and deep routes, they put K. Williams on a wheel route, and Stafford uses him often. Man, I think, and that's a great point too. Like you said here, one of the things that I really like what they do on that wheel route, Bob, is that, check it out, man. They've utilized this kid, and this kid now on pace for 50 catches. So check it out, Bob, a guy that I didn't know went to Notre Dame. This guy's on pace for 1,300 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns, 50 catches, and 3 TDs. That is not an awful year for a running back on a team that's a predominant pass team. It's going to be a challenge. How about this? Is he the best running back you'll play this year? Bijan's good. Kamara's good. Josh Jacobs. Did Jacobs have a good game against you guys? Jacobs had like 90 yards, right? Is he the best running back you've played so far? Since he doesn't have one. Cincinnati doesn't have one. The Giants don't have one. Washington doesn't really have one. Jacobs had 84 yards. That's not bad. You haven't played Henry yet, Xander. So far this year, is he the best running back you will have played? Like I said, Bijan, Jacobs, Alvin Kamara. So he's got to be kind of right there with Jacobs, because Jacobs is having a great year. You play Henry. I know we haven't played Henry yet. As again, listen, is he the best back you've played this year? Was my comment. And I'll probably say Jacobs is the better back. He's probably second, though. Okay. Still, Stafford is pretty even throwing to his left or right side, mainly outside the numbers, 10 yards or off the line of scrimmage. His most favorite throws. Dejan will have to do a great job and have to be out there a lot. He does a great job at throwing inside the numbers, outside the numbers, across the middle. He's a fearless passer. By the way, the thing you love most about Stafford, too, he'll throw a pick, 2 picks. He don't care. He'll come right back firing at the same route. He'll come right back at you. That guy's been a really great pro. I mean, he's a good football player, man. I'll tell you what, if you ever had to build your franchise around a quarterback, you can't go wrong with Matthew Stafford. You'd be all right with that. If you had to build your team around Taysom Hill / Jalen Hurts, I don't know. You're going to be wobbling for a while. You're going to be like on a seesaw. You know what Jalen Hurts reminds me of? When you get on a boat, and all of a sudden rough sea starts coming, you're like, holy shit, you're going to get seasick. Jalen Hurts makes you seasick. He makes you seasick. Sometimes it's clear waters and it's like a mill pond. Some days it's like, man, you're in a tsunami. Like a fucking tsunami. Philly 500 will join us at 4:30. Xander's going to join us in a few minutes. Sills, would you draft the quarterback from Ole Miss in the second round? Kid's pretty good. I like him. Third, maybe fourth. Jalen can play. Bad for 3 quarters, but he doesn't stop coming. Bum. Great winning plays. That's it, man. He's a heart and hustle guy. He may suck for 3 quarters, but I'll tell you what, he won't surrender. He's just a true grit guy. I know, man. He's just a fucking unbelievable gamer. This guy may look like shit for 3 quarters, man, but he's going to keep grinding it. That's always a good way to go into your play at quarterback. Hey, he may suck for about 48 minutes, but the other 12, he's going to bring it home. There you go, man. Holy shit. I tell you what, man, you couldn't sometimes put a nail in the sphincter the way that guy plays quarterback. Your sphincter's pucker in every game he plays. No. Oh, no. Oh, man. Only thing for sure is the bad play comes first. It does. This guy's got to work for it, man. Hey, Sills, why did the Eagles' run game jump so much in the fourth quarter? Because they stopped throwing it. Hey, wait a minute. Why would you talk about it? Hey, one thing you're going to do, why don't we just talk about Hurts? Hurts is at least a winner. You're talking about this guy? That guy's a boy in a man's body, Joel Embiid. I'm talking about it's a man show, not a boy show. I mean, Joel Embiid's a boy in a man's body. I mean, this is an adult show. We talk about winners and we talk about people striving to be champions. Joel Embiid? I mean, this guy couldn't win a basketball game down on the flats in a pickup game. This guy couldn't go to Rucker Park and win a game. I mean, I'll take the dudes down on the flats over that guy. Let's talk about winners here. One thing you talk about what hurts, I can't deny it. He's winning. That guy, still won 12. He doesn't give a shit. Collects his money. And what does he do? He bitches about somebody calling him out. Instead of bitching about somebody calling him out, why don't you do something about it? Whoever said that about me is a real piece of shit. I think that guy is absolutely a child. Whoever said that and released that to the public about our secret meeting that we had, and it was just supposedly between us and the boys, whoever released that is a real piece of shit. I would laugh in his face. If I was covering him, he would be so angry with me because I wouldn't ask him any questions because I don't want to know. I would just listen, but I would be laughing the whole time in the pit. He eventually would go, "What are you laughing at?" And I go, "You're unbecoming. You're so good and you're a waste of talent. It's a waste of talent." Embiid's a great player. Maybe one of the greatest shooting big men I've ever seen. It stops there, though. Just shows you can have all the talent in the world, man. And you're still Aaron Rodgers. At least that fucker won. Who snitched? He's a real piece of shit. Surely people are laughing at him. I mean, I hope people are laughing at him. I mean, how are you not laughing at him? He is an utter joke. My God almighty. Act like you're a Philadelphian. Act like you fucking demand greatness. Not that. It's so Ben Simmons. It's really wormy. It beats a Frenchman. That's it. Hey, it beats a Frenchman. I knew it. Hey, I knew it. It beats a Frenchman. Never trust a fucking Frenchman. I get it. Holy shit. That's right. He's a Frenchman. Hey, Dejean doesn't count. I like him. He's a tough guy. He must be from South France. He must be from Saint-Laurent. That's more of a Guinea. That's more of an Italian down there. So I'm going to give him being more of a Northern Italian. Cooper Dejean. The other guy's a Frenchman. Never trust a Frenchman. Holy shit. Good night, almighty. Yes. Hey, check. Hey, I love it, man. So, by the way, Philly 500 will join me at 4:30. So I had a conversation with Honk Kraus. I mean Xander Kraus prior to the show, and I was telling him, I go, why are you more engaged with this team coming out of a Washington win than you were a year ago when you came out of a win at Arrowhead? You know what he said? Woohoo! Woo! Look at this. Look at that one here. How you doing? Woo! Hold on. I'm not going to read this by myself because I don't want to fuck this up, okay? Hey, I don't want to mess this up without T-Bone. That's awesome of you, man. Thank you very much. Way to support the channel, man. Hey, this goes for us, what T-Bone just did. Remember this. Hey, by the way, this doesn't go in Xander's pocket or Big Joe Krause's pocket, folks. This goes into supporting the channel, keep it going. I want you to know that. When Xander sees me every Friday, believe me, this guy's eating corn dogs and drinking Diet Coke. Without further ado, the co-host of Birds 365, our friend, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's going on, Big Cells?
Look at this, man.
Look at T-Bone. Look at that. I love that, man. That's a lot of love right there, isn't it, Big Cells?
Yes, I by the way, folks, I'm telling you.
And you're spot on, by the way, man. That goes right to the channel, right to helping the channel out. So it's major support. I always tell the people, when they do that, it's supporting us directly. So if you enjoy the work, we do appreciate it. All right, you want me to read this sucker?
Please, because I don't want to F it up, man. Hey, by the way, thank God, all supers go to the top. Hey, 100
personal.
By the way, 100 or $1 also matters to us too. So
yeah, absolutely. T-Bone, thanks, dude. Appreciate
T-Bone, thank you for the love, man. 100 times. Go ahead, Xander.
I'm Sills' personal reader now. Sills, you are 95% of the time. I think he means you are right. Awesome. Stats and performance can trap one's thinking. The unforeseen intangibles equals wins and losses. Strengths plus weaknesses plus intangibles determine the results regardless of what we think. Who thought Birds would be 8-2 at this point? Not me. Let's go, T-Bone.
Not me too, man. I didn't think they'd be 8-2 too. I didn't. So
T-Bone,
yes,
with that equation, you're going to tell me why we're winning the Super Bowl this year. Look at this. This dude became a mathematician when he's breaking down football.
Holy cow, that was a soliloquy he just wrote there for us, man. I appreciate that, T-Bone. All right, Xander.
It's a good thing.
Why do you feel better here on November 21st, 2024 than you did a year ago, November 21st, 2023, when you were walking out of Arrowhead with a win over the defending champion KC Chiefs?
Well, I'm putting the burden of proof on you. Why do you think that because this is a new football season, it's going to unfold like it did a year ago?
No, last year everybody was telling me 9-1. They're fucking going to the Super Bowl. We're great.
Yeah, we got a different
Your
team,
defense was in the top 5. Your offense was in the top 5.
Your defense was not in the top 5. That's big.
Your run defense was 2 in the top 5. It was 2 in the top 5 last year because you got out to that great start against the run versus New England and all them teams like Kansas or Minnesota. You were 9-1. You just beat Kansas City. Now all of a sudden, here we are here.
Sills knows I can't fact check that.
2024, and guess what? You beat a rookie quarterback, and now you feel better today than you did rolling out of KC.
Sills is using that bullshit.
Let me give you a Howie.
Sills is using that bullshit because how am I supposed to check what the defense was ranked through week 10?
I checked it. I saw it.
Our defense is infinitely better this year than it was last
year.
Our coaches,
you played a tougher
coaches this year. Our quarterbacks look good, not turning the ball over.
This guy doesn't. He don't want you to hear it, folks. You played a tougher schedule last year than the piece of shit schedule you've played now.
The schedule argument on both sides is a load of baloney.
That's not true. You're telling. Oh, I see. So if you line up SEC teams and then you line up Big 12 teams, you think?
Oh yeah, because you know what? Yeah, because now the NFL's the SEC or the. Big
wait
12.
a minute. Okay, I'll just use a better division. You think you playing in the NFC North or the AFC North, and you playing down in the NFC South? You think that's the same fucking teams you're lining up against? Or you got to play Pittsburgh?
No,
you got to turn around and play Baltimore.
The Chiefs lost to us last year. They went on to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. And you didn't feel like that was a Super Bowl team beating the defending champions, but coming out of KC, Xander feels a lot better about this team.
No, it's the same thing I told you a week ago. I'm not buying this team fully until we see it happen, because just like we do, we beat the Chiefs, we beat the Bills, we beat the Cowboys, we beat the Dolphins, we beat all these great teams last year.
Nobody like that this year.
I know. So why does it matter either way? If it didn't matter when we beat the good teams, why does it matter so much when we beat up on bad teams?
Because good teams prepare you for great
play good football at the end of the year, Big Sills.
Because good teams prepare you for great moments, not playing tomato cans.
Okay, so what happened last year?
You played great teams. They weren't the team that I said they weren't. I said they weren't a 9-1 team.
You're contradicting yourself, Big
No,
Sills.
I'm not.
Yes,
no, because I never thought they. No. I never thought they were a 9-1 team. You guys did. Thought they were a Super Bowl team. Everyone did. And I just like now at 8-2.
Didn't you just tell me better opponents?
I don't know. What?
Didn't you just say better opponents prepare you better?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened last year?
I didn't really think your quarterback was going to stay in line with what he needed to do, because he was turning the ball over too much, and he started turning it over more. And then there was more self-implosion when you made that coordinator change. A lot of that thing fell apart when you were 10-2, dude. You know what? And I blame the organization for self-inflicted wounds in that year.
I know, but if the good opponents last year didn't prepare us to not collapse, I'm not going to sit here and say the bad opponents we've played this year are setting us up for collapse.
You're right.
It doesn't work like that.
If you play a lesser schedule, you're right.
Week in and week out.
If you play a lesser schedule, you're right. You're more prepared than you were a year ago. You're right.
No, but by your logic, the better schedule.
Facts.
Okay, the better schedule that we beat up on last year to get to 10-1 didn't do anything for our collapse.
Because you self-inflicted. You did dumb shit last year.
Are you not understanding?
You fired a 10-2 coach who had beaten Mahomes. Why?
I don't know. That's not the answer. The question, the response is, though, if we beat the Chiefs and it didn't do shit for us not collapsing, why does us beating bad teams have to do anything with that?
You're missing the whole fucking point. You coming out of KC, you're telling me you didn't feel like you were a Super Bowl team, but you feel coming out of beating Jaden Daniels you are.
Well, I don't know what I thought. I remember listening to a bunch of varying opinions on JAKIB. You and Seth didn't think we were that good at 10-1. Although Seth started to buy it right toward the end after the last couple of wins.
Yeah.
And then everybody else on the channel, said that they were the greatest team in the history of the planet.
This is the only thing I'm saying about this group right now, is that we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I don't give a shit who we play. Play who's in front of you. Get better each week. Keep correcting what you're bad at. Keep putting your best foot forward. Keep tackling. Keep playing fundamental football. Keep running the ball. Do all those things, and you're going to be going.
Keep playing better quarterback. You don't forget that one.
Yeah, no, you're right. Hey, you're right. You're right. You're right about that.
So let's
quarterback's got to be better.
Let's do the checklist.
What checklist?
I got a checklist for you, Junior.
All right, good. I love it. I love it.
So, by the way, this is not an indictment on who I think wins on Sunday yet. Okay, we'll do that
Okay,
tomorrow.
that's fine. Wait, do you want me to tell you real quick before we move on why we're not going to collapse?
Yeah.
We've got better coaches.
Okay.
Simply.
Well, so far, Kellen Moore hasn't impressed me.
Yeah, but who really collapsed down the stretch? I know the offense didn't do great, but it really wasn't their
I think that
collapse.
was an organizational collapse.
It was, but the defense actually fell off a
It
cliff.
did. Fell off.
They couldn't stop a nosebleed.
Nope.
So I don't think that's happening with Vic Fangio. Will we have moments where we're not the number one defense in the league? Yeah, of course we're going to have those moments. When you're playing Stafford, you're playing Lamar, you're playing Russell with the 8-2 Steelers. You know, you got some good teams ahead of us right now. We got to lock in here, but it's all about continuing to get better, continuing to play good football, and with coaching. And by the way, I'm also going to factor in, I think they learned something from last year.
They
I don't
did.
think anybody goes through. I mean, you're talking to a guy. I learned more about my business in the last year through all of our struggles and trials and all of the bullshit that came that sometimes made it feel like there was no end in sight. I learned far more in those moments than I ever did in the first 2 years when everybody, was telling us how great we were and we were the new thing and this and that. You learn far more in the trials and tribulations of life than you do in the good moments. So I think the team learned something from it too, and I think the quarterback learned something from it too.
You know what that's code for, my friends? Big Sills. Last man fucking standing, baby. That's what it came down to.
One
day
we'll tell the full story. We're not too far out from being able to tell the full story on everything, but we'll get there. I'm excited to tell that story.
Oh my God, I love JAKIB.
Big Sills is the GOAT, though. There's a reason that I love Big Sills, and it's for far more than just his show or his football takes. He's a real one for sure.
I'd love this. Let me go here now with you here. Wait a minute.
What's this checklist?
Okay, I'm going to do the checklist, but I got to do this. Folks, just to reiterate, there's hope for Hurts yet. Taysom Hill is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Congratulations to the Switchblade or to the Swiss Army knife that guy's got more Player of the Week awards than the quarterback in Philly. Holy shit. Come on, Wishbone. Let's go.
Sills.
LFG, man. Let's go.
Sills, 4 years you've been here. This is your worst take I've ever heard. Now you're hanging trophies on the wall for Player of the Week awards.
Taysom Hurts.
Player of the Week awards are now Sileo's new metric for gauging success.
So wait a minute. You don't think a rookie like Cameron Kitchens being the defensive rookie of the week, not rookie of the week, player of the week, 2 times out of the last 3 is a good deal?
I think it's a solid deal.
Solid deal? Well, one of your boys haven't won.
No, but Sills, it's great. But isn't it statistic driven? Wait, just let me play the scenario. You have a number 1 cornerback who gets drafted, locks down a bona fide number 1 wide receiver to 1 catch for 10 yards. They don't throw to him at all the whole game. Okay, that's great for the fans who watch the game. That doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Or there's a guy who gets an interception and recovers a fumble. He's a
playmaker. He's got picks.
Well, no. Look, statistics win those awards. When you're quantifying cornerback play, a lot of times it's quantified by lack of statistics because nobody throws to them. It's like the defenseman in hockey. You used to be told the best defenseman in hockey, you never hear their name.
So hang on. Are you really trying to sit here and tell me you don't think being named as a rookie in only 9 games or 10 games that he's played, you're trying to tell me that you think that having and by the way, he doesn't even fucking start. He doesn't even fucking start, dude.
That guy can't sniff Cooper DeJean's jockstrap.
He's okay. Well, I'll tell you what, right? Really. So this guy
really.
This guy's won the Defensive Player of the Week award 2 of the last 3 weeks, and he can't sniff that guy's jock. And that fucker you're trying to tell me, who doesn't even start, is the Player of the Week on the defensive side, and he's a rookie. He's only played 10 games. Okay, you're right. That's not how that works, dude. That guy's making a fucking huge name for himself. And by the way, that goes down to the other guys that they drafted. They got 4 or 5 rookies in that defense starting. Hey, ho. Here. No one can hear you. Here.
We all know why Sills is jacking this dude up, right? You know why.
I don't know why.
He's a Miami guy. He's 22. You're right. He's a good player, man. He just turned 22 too. He's a young guy, and he's playing good. He hasn't really had.
We both liked him too. We thought
he hasn't had a great season in coverage though. He hasn't.
Two-time defensive player of the week. What a
statistics, Sileo.
All right.
Statistics,
so
Sileo.
The checklist. Are you ready?
Hit the like button. Love statistics, dude. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Look at T-Bone. We got to do T-Bone again.
Look at T-Bone, dude. This dude's a legend.
Fans don't attack the messenger sills. Is not the enemy. Thank you, T. T's like serving up a T-bone steak.
All right, T.
Be positive. Be a fan, but stay grounded, Xander. We are overachieving, and I love it.
He didn't say Xander in there.
I did. Birds have a chance for the Super Bowl. A small chance is still a chance. We're going to get to all the live and super chats. We appreciate it. All right, here we go. Ready?
I'm ready, brother.
I am not saying Rams win, but I'm going to go down advantages, disadvantages.
All right, let's see where we agree and disagree.
Quarterback, I got Matthew Stafford over your boy Tyson Hurts.
All right, I got him over Jalen Hurts.
Running back,
Barkley by a landslide, by over every team in the league.
You get this too, and by the way, the Rams kid's not awful.
No, Kyron Williams, he's good. He's a third-year player out of Notre Dame, playing pretty good. But let me tell you something about him. Last year, he averaged 5 yards a carry. This year, he averages 3.9 yards a carry.
More volume probably being thrown.
Just saying, he's not having his best season right now. Getting a lot of reps because the receivers were hurt.
Let me write that one down because I got to bring that up to you a little bit later because of your bullshit with John today. Hold on here. Ready?
What was my bullshit with John?
Oh, okay, hang on. We got it.
I can't wait.
I have a million thoughts going in at one time. People that are savants and brilliant have a lot of things going on, like Elon Musk at one time.
I do too. My mind goes crazy all day.
Wide receiver 1, AJ Brown over Cooper Kupp. I'll take AJ.
I'll take AJ as well.
Wide receiver 2, I'm taking Puka Nacua over Devontae because the quarterback gets the ball to him.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I think Devontae's a better player.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have Devontae if I drafted a team, but with the setup of the team, you're not wrong. I mean, Matthew Stafford spreads the ball around. He uses not just his top 2 receivers, he'll use his top 4 wide receivers, and the tight ends and the running back. He spreads the ball around. So you're not wrong about that. And
to your point, Robinson is going to get 50 catches for 700 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's wide receiver 3. So far,
it's pretty.
The only advantage in this offense that you have Sunday is that running back. The wide receiving group. What?
Your offensive line's not that good.
I'm not done yet. I said offensive group. I should say skill set, guys.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
It's the running back, right? Okay.
Well, no, and AJ.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. You have no.
All right, so the running back's not the only one.
Oh, the Rams wide receiving group is better than yours.
Well, you took AJ and I took AJ over Cooper.
Yeah, but there's 3 wideouts versus one.
Okay, so you're saying wide receivers as a whole. I'll agree with you there. Yeah,
wide receivers as a whole, the skilled guys.
Yeah, they're being used more. Okay, that's fine. You didn't frame it like that when you asked the question, big guy.
I forgot. I'm at Villanova right now in a fucking quiz. Here we go. O-line. Easily the Eagles. But
this motherfucker.
Give me that one stat that you gave me yesterday on why Stafford makes his O-line better.
Because he gets rid of the ball. It's 3rd fastest in the league.
Still, Eagles are better, but he gets the ball out quick.
He does. It's hard to get home with Stafford.
And that helps his O-line.
Yeah.
They don't have to be better than the Eagles, but he helps them.
Now, where's my guy in the chat, Charlie Swift? Because he brings up that's not what he said here, but Charlie always brings up how good the Eagles defense has been in tackling. I think that's going to be key because Stafford's going to get rid of that ball quick. You do not want these guys getting yak yards. Get them down quick. They got to be good at tackling because Stafford's not going to sit there like a statue in the pocket. He's going to get rid of that ball quick.
But they're going to be in zone. How are you going to get them down?
Tackle.
Okay, so you're going to play still 10 yards off the ball, and he's going to play.
No, they're going to have to play up a little bit.
Oh, so you think they're going to have to press more?
I mean,
That's not what he does.
They're going to stay in zone. So it's, but you
so
can't.
You think instead of 10, they're going to come up on 7, 8, something like that. 7,
Hopefully,
6.
because if you don't, I mean, don't you agree? Matthew Stafford's just going to take what you're giving him all day long.
Unless the pressure gets home.
Yeah, but if you're giving him 7 yards, he can get rid of the ball in 2 seconds.
Correct. This is why, again, this is going to be a lot like the Burrow game.
It's going to be a lot like the Buccaneers game, is my worry.
Because they had Godwin and
Evans. Baker Mayfield was getting rid of the ball.
But the difference was that they didn't really have a run game going into that. They were 28th. They got a kid here who's a pretty good player here. That's going to be a little different.
Look, I'm not as out on this Rams team as many of our fans are. A lot of people think this is a walk in the park game because they're 5-5. They started 1-4. Remember, they've made a big resurgence right now. They don't look great when they play. They didn't look great last week when they lost to the Dolphins, but they're still a solid team. You got to take them. You don't take them lightly. And Matthew Stafford's a guy who's been doing it for a long time, man. He's seen every look you're going to give him. This isn't Jaden Daniels, who hasn't seen most of these looks.
D-line, I went Rams. Fisk, Turner, and Verts. All three are on pace for almost 10 sacks apiece.
There's no doubt their D-line right now. Well, you could even say our D-line's better. Their edges are better, where they're getting a lot of production.
I think their pass rush. Oh, wait, you know what? That's a great take by you.
Yeah, because I like our
pass rushing. Their pass rushing's better.
Yeah, I'll take our interior up against anybody, basically, except the Chiefs, where they have Chris Jones, man in the middle, who's unreal, and maybe Dexter Lawrence, but the Giants aren't that good. So,
but here's the problem I have with that. Hurts holds on to that ball back there, dog, and
he does.
You got some skill set pass rushers getting home to him.
Yeah,
he's taking sacks like he did against the Dallas Cowboys, who stunk. Okay, I mean, you got 3 dudes who can get home in a big way here.
Yep, no doubt.
Like I said, I'm not saying that you don't win, but Xander, now the spread has come down. It's 2.5 now. Usually, when you go on the road like that, home team gets 3. It's almost like a push game right now. This could be a coin flip football game here, especially if you don't get that quarterback off his spot here. I gave you the linebackers. I gave you, even with my boy Kitchens, the DBs. But coaching, I'm going to go this. And I like one take that we had in here. McVay, offense. Vic, defense. I don't think Kellen Moore is bringing a lot to the table. He's improving a run game that was been good for 14 years. Great. Okay, I mean, he doesn't deserve credit for that. 14 years running the.
And by the way, we signed the most talented running back maybe we've ever had in Philly. So
so who do you give more credit to improving the run game, Howie or Kellen?
Yeah, really. How about I just give it all to Saquon, because the run game is already good. The added bonus of it this year is strictly because of how talented the guy who's back there is.
So what do you think, man? I mean,
I think you're right. The coaches. I mean, they obviously have better coaching. I mean, their defensive coaching. I'll give us the edge there with Vic Fangio, but
I don't really know for sure.
This is a fun matchup because their strengths match up with some of our strengths. And when you look at their good coaching, they're very offensively. They're coached very well offensively with Sean McVay and the play calling and the motion and all the fun stuff he does. And then you're going up against Vic Fangio, who's been one of our strengths this year. So it is going to be a fun matchup from that perspective. Our secondary's been great all year. Their receivers have found rhythm. They've only played, by the way, Kupp has only played, I think, 5 games, and Nakua has only played 6 games.
Correct.
So they haven't been out there, and Kupp is already up near 500 yards with 5 games played. So he's been pretty good when he's been out there. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm pretty excited for this one. By the way, Sunday Night Football, baby, under the lights. I love it.
Man.
Oh, don't be John, dude. Oh my God.
Hey. Okay.
These guys act like we dig coal mines for a living. We got to do it till 2. We're talking about football. We're talking about football from the comfort of your own home. He's crying, and he's 3 hours back. He'll be off at 10 o'clock drinking Coronas. We'll be going till 3 a.m. on the post game show. Quit being a cis pot.
Hold on, make it a cis pot. Hey, all right, here, wait a minute. Hurts is going to have to make plays in the passing game in this game on Sunday, don't you think?
I mean, if we're not running, yeah, you got to. He's going to have to look, even Lane Johnson admitted that yesterday in the locker room. Teams are already starting us to show different looks. They're already starting to, they faced some from 6-man fronts last week. And they're going to look, if we don't prove that we can pass the ball, eventually teams are going to do everything they can, even if it's leaving A.J. Brown on an island, to stop the run. Because we're so much less efficient in the passing game. Eventually, you're going to get to that point, and the tide might turn this week. So Jalen's got it. Look, we're reaching that crux point where, eventually he's going to have to pick it up and take it to a new level, take it back to that 22 level, get back to passing efficiently. And if he doesn't do it, we could be in trouble. But I feel like I like where we're at. I like where we're at right now. I think he's gonna show something this weekend.
Who takes up for the lost reps by Bryce Huff? I'm gonna, before you answer, I'm gonna throw this at you. Don't give Nolan Smith more reps. His production will come down. You've got to be careful with the guy. You're giving him enough now, and he's being productive for you. You've got to keep what I would do with him, Xander. If I were Vic, I would continually add like 5% more each week. I wouldn't do it all in once, because look what they tried to do to Bryce. They tried to make Bryce a 3-down guy. He was absolutely not productive.
Yeah.
Build him up more, 5% a week. And then by the end of the year, you might have a guy that can go 65 plays, and you might have a guy at the end of the year. My concern with him is his size. He's a slim.
Yeah, part of me wants to believe you on that, but part of me also wants to say cut him loose a little bit, because in the limited reps he's gotten more productive. So I'm not going to say he set the edge better than Bryce Huff. He's not a world beater at it. He's not the biggest man on the edge. He was better at it than Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff. Wait, we didn't talk about him yesterday when he got in. How about that? I mean, now he's out. Man, this is the worst free agency experience we've had in how long? Since Nnamdi Asomugha?
Hey, man, let me tell you Murray? Hey, that guy Brock Osweiler, when he went down to Houston and he stole all that money.
I know.
When he gets his paycheck in Philly, this is how Bryce Huff gets his paycheck. Look here. He puts his head down and puts his hand out.
I know.
That's how he gets his paycheck in Philly.
How's it work in the NFL? Direct deposit, or do you pick up a check?
Yeah, you get a direct. Well, yeah, back in the day they gave you hard checks. Now they give you direct deposits, because sometimes when the money is so high, they're paid quarterly because of tax reasons. So they do that quarterly. But stiffs like us, linemen and shit, they pay you on a weekly basis. So, but when you're a quarterback like Dak or somebody Dak was paid $100.
Weekly direct deposit sounds like big sales.
Yeah. Where is it, Xander?
Oh my God!
Holy shit! Here,
442 weeks. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Every fucking day, it's great. How you doing? All right. So listen, what do you think the key to game is here, man? On Sunday here, what's the key to them winning this game? I'm not saying comfortably, because I think this is going to be a 4-quarter football game. What do you think?
Part of me wants to say the key to this game is that defense, man. If that defense can hold up, I just mentioned the crux point. It almost feels like this game and many other games now are going to be on the heels of that defense. Where if this defense can keep up with what they've done, I know we want a better passing game, but even with marginal improvements in the passing game, not massive jumps, marginal improvements, 5% better each week or 10% better each week, we're going to be able to make up the difference if our defense continues to play as stout as they've been, holding opponents to under 20 points most games. I mean, I say it all the time. We're all excited we beat the Commanders. I am too. We're all excited we beat the Saints back in week 3. I am too. If our defense didn't play great in those games, we weren't winning those games. We went into the fourth quarter versus Saints Stills. We had 0 points on the board. We went into the fourth quarter last week. We had 6 points on the board. If our defense isn't holding up as good as they are, think about what that game looks like. Did you have a touchdown
in the first half after the first?
No, we had 2 field goals.
Yeah, 2 field goals, right.
We had 6 points going into the fourth quarter, Sills.
Right.
Versus the Commanders. We had a 20-point fourth quarter. So we had a great fourth quarter, but the point is, if our defense gets beat early in that game, you can't run Saquon Barkley in the fourth quarter because you're down by 2 scores. We haven't been good early in games, and we're going to have to do it. So I think the defense, man, if the defense can hold up, if they can get Matthew Stafford off his spot, if they can tackle well, get him off the field, don't let him keep moving the chains, I think your offense is going to be all right. They'll be able to run with them, run with Saquon, and they should be able to handle it and get the win. But Defense has to play well. And if the defense doesn't play well, then what does that mean? That means that Jalen Hurts has to light it up in the air. And if he doesn't, you're probably going to end up losing the game.
Got to get home. Got to get home. There's got to be pressure on Stafford. He cannot sit back there. And that's the thing they did to Burrow. They got pressure on him, and they got him off his spot, and they moved him around, and Burrow really didn't have a run game. Joe Mixon wasn't there, dude. By the way, all supers will be read at the end of the segment, we promise. Please hit the like button. But see, that's the difference here. Stafford's got a run game. They're getting healthier. They've got super quality wideouts, and he spreads the ball around. All right, let me go here with you. Rams, Ravens, Carolina, Steelers, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys. How many wins do you think you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 games left.
I mean, I think there's 4 guaranteed. I think you're beating the Cowboys, you're beating the Giants, you're beating the Panthers. All right, so 3 guaranteed. What do we have, 7 left?
Yep.
7 left in this thing? And then you have Steelers, Ravens, Commanders, and
Rams.
Those are the 4 games. And if you lose, see, this is why this Rams game is huge, because if you lose this Rams game and then you go into that Baltimore game, you know, after coming off a loss, that's a tough opponent in Baltimore. Then you drop 2 straight, just assuming that potentially that could set up a bad situation. So I think you got to beat the Rams game, and then that opens up. Look, I'm not saying we want to lose, but if you beat the Rams this week, you can be all right if you lose to the Ravens. You'll be all right. You might hurt your chances at the 1 seed, but you'll be all right with a loss there in the AFC. We beat the Rams. We beat the Giants, the Cowboys, the Panthers. That's 4. We're up to 12 wins. I think we beat the Commanders again. I'm sorry. I don't think they're a better team than us, and I don't think they're going to get us this year. We'll see how it plays out. That gets us to the 13 wins that Big Z predicted. Thank you very much. And then we have Steelers and Ravens, probably our 2 toughest tests of the year, those 2 teams.
All right, so like not picking games right now, but how many games do you think you win?
Out of the last 7?
Yeah.
I'm going to say we win 4 or 5. 5.
5. You're 5-2.
Yep. I'm going to say 5.
I got you 3-4.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who's beating us? Let me guess.
I'm not saying it yet.
Commanders, Steelers, Ravens, and Rams.
I'm not saying it yet. I can't. I'm not.
That's it. I know you like a book.
3-4, and you'll end up 11-6. And I was 2 off the number because I predicted 9. So I'm kind of in the room there.
I know you like a book. Rams, Steelers, Ravens, Commanders. That's it.
I'm 3-4. I got you 3-4.
You got to beat the Panthers, the Giants, and the Cowboys.
Yeah, 3-4. You don't know what I'm doing here. You're 3-4. You're going to win 3 of the next 7 games.
We're going to win 5 of the next 7. We're going to be 13.
5-2.
We're going to be 13-4 going into the playoffs.
13-4.
We're probably not going to get the 1 seed if we go 5-2 in Alexa. I don't see that. I think the Lions are maybe good for 1 more loss. I know they have some tough teams, but they're just playing so damn good right now. It's hard to discount them. So I'm all right with that, though. If we can get the rest of the playoffs to come through Philly and then the NFC title game in Detroit, I can live with that.
3-4. Here we go. They've got the Colts. They'll beat the Colts. They'll beat the Bears. Packer game will be tough. Bills game will be tough.
Yeah, they have some tough teams. Packers, they have Bills, and then they have Niners.
And they have Minnesota at the end.
And Minnesota, yeah. Minnesota's a good team. You're right. They are 8-2.
Okay. So they actually play people in Detroit. So, I mean, you got the Colts, they got the Packers, they got the Bills, they got the Niners, and they got Minnesota. You've got the Giants and the fucking Giants and the Cowboys at the end. Holy shit, man. You talk about coasting into coastal Carolina games. Holy shit. It's like Alabama playing Tennessee Chattanooga.
And they'll get the chance to rest up going into that playoff run.
Holy shit. 3-4. I got you winning 3 of the next 4 games.
How much crow are you going to eat this year? You're going to eat. Sounds like you're going to eat crow Monday. By the way, not to call you out or anything, not to put you on the spot, not to make you not to make you self-conscious here.
Do I look like a self-conscious guy?
Okay, but the 4
Absolutely not.
years you've been with JAKIB, you've never been more wrong than this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Your quarterback is not
First
improved.
year you were here was Jalen's first year starting. You were spot on. You said you'll win maybe 9 games. You'll be right in there. That's exactly what we did. Second year, you said you criticized us all year, but you said before the season started, we were going to the Super Bowl. You were spot on there. The only thing you got wrong that year was that you said we were going to play the Bills. We ended up playing the Chiefs. Okay? You were spot on there. Last year, you were skeptical of the team at 10-1. You called the collapse. This year, you said we were going to be 7-9 wins. You were influenced by Angelo down to 5, and you've been eating your words ever since the season started. How's it feel?
No. I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. I'm very comfortable with where I'm at because I know your quarterback's regressed. He doesn't look like a very good passer. He looks common. The only thing that's running your football team right now is the running back. The running back is arguably the MVP of the league. I think that guy throwing the ball, that guy is the worst dude in your offensive huddle. Can you believe that? That's the guy you paid $50 million to. And one thing about having Barkley.
He's not the worst guy in the huddle.
Okay, who's worse?
Dallas Goedert.
Goedert.
Jahan Dotson.
A third wideout. Okay.
Jahan Dotson.
Hey, your quarterback is, of all the contending teams in the NFC, outside of Sam Darnold, he's the worst. Here's the playoff picture.
What's our best passing game this year?
Might be last week. He was 262. I think it's 262 last week. I think he had 262.
What was our? Was it? See, I would say week 1, but Jalen had 3 turnovers in that game.
Well, I was talking passing yards.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I can't have the best passing game with 2 interceptions.
75 in that game, didn't he?
What's that?
Was it the Bengal game?
See, he had 278. He had 311 versus New Orleans, 29 of 38 in that
311? Yeah, that's probably it.
That was one of our least efficient offensive games of the year. We had 0 points going into the fourth quarter. That was not a pretty game, everybody. I remember them all very well.
Yeah.
That was it. That was his high. He only broke 300 once this year.
Has he been sensational this year?
No. I don't think anybody would say that, though. I really don't. I don't think anybody would say that. He hasn't been sensational. We don't need him to be. Our team is good enough for him to not be sensational.
So you're just asking him to make sure he doesn't turn the ball over.
I've been consistent all week. Don't turn the ball over. If the defense can play like this, we're a recipe for. By the way, teams don't like playing that type of team in January. They do not.
So here's the playoff picture, and I want to show everyone the difference between the AFC and the NFC. Detroit is the 1 seed, Philly's 2, Arizona's 3, Atlanta's 4, Minnesota's 5, 6 is Green Bay, and 7's Washington. 2 teams that will get the bye will be obviously Kansas City and Detroit. So this is your matchup for your first round. Washington at Philly. You get the rookie.
I got it right here.
You get Green Bay at Arizona, and then you get Minnesota at Atlanta. So
there it is on the screen.
So look, you get Jaden Daniels versus Jalen Hurts. The second matchup is Love versus Kyler Murray. Then Minnesota, you got Sam Darnold versus Kirk Cousins. Now go over to the AFC. You have Bo Nix versus Josh Allen. Then you have Lamar Jackson versus Russell Wilson. Then you have Justin Herbert versus CJ Stroud. I told Xander this. There is no question the AFC has the quarterbacks. And I would suggest to everyone that the NFC probably has the better rosters, because I would say this to you. Detroit's got a great roster. Philly's got one. I think Arizona's starting to come around and having a good roster. I think Green Bay's got a good roster. When I look at Kansas City, they're so balanced, man. Does Buffalo really have a great roster? I mean, I think they're good, Xander. I don't think
they have a great roster. No, that's where Josh Allen deserves more credit. This is where you're right with Josh Allen, because they're not. That roster's not. Come on, that roster's not that good, man.
How about Pittsburgh?
I mean, they traded for Amari Cooper, who's well on the other side of his prime, and he became their wide receiver 1 immediately.
Absolutely. And by the way, that guy would be a 3 in Philly.
Yeah, he would be a 3, and he'd be the 6th option.
Yeah, right.
They'd have AJ Smitty, Saquon, Goddard, Hurts probably in the run game, and then Amari. I mean, he wouldn't be a factor here.
I'm starting to like that Houston roster. I think they're
solid. You know who my sleeper is? I don't know if you heard me this morning on Birds 365.
Who?
My sleeper? The Chargers. Wait, listen now. Good coach, good quarterback, good defense, and a good run game. That's the ingredients that you need late in the season. Good coach, good quarterback, good defense, and a good run game.
Okay. My problem would be when you say that, can you go into cold weather and can you go in and win football games with limited as a running attack football team? I mean, when you're talking about a running game, that kid, J.K. Dobbins, man, he's had a really good year and it's flown under the radar. By the way, you want to hear something crazy? J.K. Dobbins is on pace for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean, that's really impressive. That kid, Lad McConkey, man, Christian McCaffrey, or that guy McConkey, who played for the Giants back in the day, he's had a really nice rookie season as well. Get this, man. This rookie's on pace for 1,000 yards receiving in that offense there with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's had a really great year because
he's a really good player, Justin Herbert. Yeah. And to your credit, you've been saying that since he got in the league. I mean,
yeah, but you know what they did? They did the same shit to him that they did to Hurts. They took the hero ball element away and they limited, instead of having him throw the ball almost 700 times, they got him around 480.
Yeah, it's perfect.
500. Let him run it.
That's why I'm like, I don't get sometimes when people like push back. I'm like, that's the right approach for even great passers of the football. That's the right approach to playing the sport. And that's good that they're doing that. I'm not going to dock Herbert, honestly, for the atrocity that is. What was that guy's name?
Brandon Staley. He fucking sucked.
I'm not docking Herbert for that guy. That guy was, everybody that watched anything that guy did could see that he was a stiff through the screen. He's a bomb.
You want to hear this about Derwin James?
You had Tom Telesco on this program, by the way, I think right when he hired him, or right before or after he hired him.
Tom's in now with the Raiders as a general manager. You ready for this? Derwin James is going to have 110 tackles this year, and he's going to have 4 sacks this season. He's one of my favorite football players, man. I love that guy, man. I mean,
guy. He was great in college. He
just gets too banged up a little bit, you know. Yeah. I mean, are you concerned about the coaching matchups going in here? How do you think Vic is going to handle going against Sean McVay? Sean McVay is clearly one of the better play callers, and I know what you said to me about that one. Look, they're all going to adjust. Both these men are going to adjust. Sean McVay is going to adjust from the last couple times that they've played against one another, and also Vic is going to adjust. But here's my problem what Vic has. That group that beat him was experienced. This is not an experienced group. And you've got an experienced signal caller and a guy who can maneuver and manipulate post-snap reads because, dude, Stafford's one of the top 6. John says it too. He's one of the top 6 players on the planet that knows what to do with the ball post-snap. Landmarks. He's a great freaking player. When you watch him on the All-22, Xander, and I haven't really watched him, he is really a superstar quarterback. I mean, you know, he gets it done, dude. He's a good.
He absolutely does. Yeah. I mean, he's at there's moments when he looks a little aged right now.
Yep. When you pressure him.
Exactly, because he can't move well anymore. He doesn't move that great, but when he's throwing the ball, he's still got it, man. Clearly, he is one of the better throwers in the game for sure.
All right, let's go to the super chats.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
3
Anthony
and 4.
Wilson checks in. Love when Sills picks the other team. Mr. 3-7. 3-7 might be generous. This guy's like 2-10 on his picks.
3 and 4 over the next 7 ball games. 3 and 4. Remember I said that.
All right, I will.
Yeah. Everything will come to fruition as it always
And
does.
remember that Z-Bone said 5-2.
Remember what Big Sales picked at the beginning of the season for the Super Bowl, too. Bills and Lions. Continue.
T-Bone, thank you, brother. This game will be decided by 3 factors: inside linebackers taking away the middle passing lanes, Hurts connecting the wide receivers, and Barkley torching the Rams. If so, Birds lead will cause Rams to take risk and set Stafford picks.
T-Bone, are you under the impression that these linebackers are great cover guys? They're good tacklers. Are they great cover guys?
Zach Bond's been good in coverage. Nakobe Dean is still a little suspect, but they've been better than, look, as John says all the time, no linebackers are good in coverage. The entire philosophy of many offenses in the league is create mismatches on linebackers. That's the point. They're not good in coverage, but they've been better than you're giving them credit for. 3-4, he's saying.
Continue.
T-Bone, I'll add one thing to your take there, brother. Got to start quick because if Stafford's not going to have to throw picks or not going to have to take risk if our team doesn't build a lead when they're stopping them early.
Do you blitz Stafford?
Got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. He will torch you if you blitz. I think Vic will be, right around what he normally is. I don't think he's going to do what he did last week. I mean, he went straight zone versus Jaden Daniels, who couldn't figure it out at all. But you don't bring heavy blitz, that's for sure. One sec. Excuse me.
I think you stick with the norm. I think you stick with your front four and try to get home and see how that works.
You do. I mean, they'll probably bring some, but yeah, like I agree with Charlie. Enough to keep him honest, but you can't bring the pressure too much because he'll just torch you.
Yep.
Can't wait for Lil Sileo 500. Is that your new name for Philly 500? The legend?
He's coming up at 4:30. I can't wait to him.
He
wanted to have a conversation about what I said yesterday about Peyton Manning.
I hope Philly 500 comes with the gloves on and just
hang on here for a second here. So do you agree with my take that Peyton Manning was underachieving in Indianapolis?
Peyton Manning underachieving?
Well, let me put
here. Super Bowls?
Well, here.
What do you get? 2 there or 1 there?
1. You have Marvin. Hang on. You have Marvin Harrison, who made the Hall of Fame. Reggie Wayne probably this year will get to the Hall of Fame. You had Edgerrin James, and you had Marshall Faulk at running back. You had Tom Moore for 10 years, your offensive coordinator. And you had a Hall of Fame head coach in Tony Dungy. And you win 1 Super Bowl. Roethlisberger won 2 in Pittsburgh. I mean, he was in the Brady era too, and he won 2.
Yeah, but I'm a little surprised at one thing about you, and this isn't exactly a response to your Peyton take, but just going back to the Eli thing, you kind of take the John philosophy of you care more about like what someone does game in and game out, but I view the Hall of Fame like I view any season in the NFL. What's it all mean if you don't win? And I know you're going to lose more than you're going to win, but at the end of the day, the whole thing we're playing for is to win. And I'll ask you this right now, and I want you to not think about the Hall of Fame. I want you to give me an honest answer to this question. Do you believe Warren Moon or who's the other great quarterback that didn't win a Super Bowl? Joe Montana?
No, Dan Marino.
Dan Marino, that's it. Joe Montana won, 4? Do you believe they would change careers with Eli Manning for 2 rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs?
No. Dan Marino said he'd rather have the records than the ring because it makes him a better – because here, no one's under the impression that Eli Manning's a better quarterback than Dan Marino.
No, you're not. You're not, but I think that they would want that hardware.
Some would. I would.
I certainly would.
I would.
I don't give a fuck about my records. Well, I want hardware. I want to show that I was the champion. We were the champions of the world. That's what I play for.
Rings are more valuable.
So that's why Eli Manning's a no-brainer.
Records are fleeting. Rings aren't. They're there forever.
That's why Eli's a whole no-brainer for me.
Okay.
Because you can't tell the story of Tom Brady being the greatest in the league, being the greatest of all time, the 7 rings, without talking about the dude who slayed him twice. You know?
Well, here, let me ask you this about Eli then. Eli's last 10 years of his NFL career, he's 67 and 80. His total career is 117 and 117.
Yeah, look, we can. I mean, look,
his touchdowns were 241
yeah.
TD passes and 160 interceptions. I mean, you think he's a Hall of Fame player?
I think he's a mediocre quarterback, but I think he reached the pinnacle of the sport twice. I think he got Super Bowl MVP.
Does that mean Foles is a Hall of Famer?
Huh? No.
No.
Nick Foles didn't get. What is that? What the fuck was that?
I have no idea. I think somebody from Facebook is dropping that. Are we on Facebook?
No.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
I found it.
No, we got hearts.
I found it. Drop some more balloons. Shit, now I lost my train of thought.
Me too, man. I'm like this. What the fuck is going on? I was waiting for a stripper to jump out of a cake.
No, but if you, it was on Eli Manning. If you reach the pinnacle twice, look, 5 players, Sills, in history of the NFL have 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Bart Starr, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Tom Brady, who's going into the Hall of Fame, and Patrick Mahomes, who's obviously going to be a Hall of Famer when he's all said and done, and Eli Manning. I mean, that's rarefied air. I know the accolades aren't good. I know he sucked more games than he didn't suck. I know he was the king of interceptions. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. That dude went up against Brady and Belichick twice and won.
So if you have 2 great moments and you have a mediocre career, you're a Hall of Fame football player in your eyes.
If you win 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs,
you have 2 great moments in your career versus 17 years of being okay.
Yeah, but they're not just great moments.
They are great moments. They're spectacular moments.
They're exceptional moments. They're the pinnacle of the sport.
2
moments.
exceptional
They're what many dream of having, which will never do.
But does that make him a Hall of Fame player? You said Warren Moon earlier. Warren Moon is superior to him as a player.
Superior. Not even in the same ballpark of talent.
He's superior of a player. He don't have rings. If Moon had rings, you know what
would Moon switch records with Eli?
Probably so, yes. Knowing him.
So one guy who's in the Hall of Fame would switch records with a guy who's not in a Hall of Fame and not in the Hall of Fame.
I asked Dan Marino this question when I was on in South Florida, and I got annihilated for it because I called him out on it. I did it to his face. I got a picture of me interviewing him at Baumgartner's, and I said this to him. I go, would you rather have the ring or the records? At the time, he had every record in the passing book. And he goes, I'd rather have the Hall of Fame ring. Well, that's hindsight after the fact, because I'm sure when he was a player, he wanted the ring. But after it, I think he has settled with the fact. But I went like this. Those records will all be gone soon. And you're not going to be able to live on those records. Right now, he has no records, really, because all the game has been changed so much. So I always found that to be kind of like, damn, Dan Marino would rather have the Hall of Fame ring. Would you rather have a Hall of Fame ring or would you rather have a Super Bowl ring?
A Super Bowl ring.
You wouldn't want to be considered one of the greatest players of all time. You don't need a Super Bowl ring to be considered one of the greatest if you have that Hall of Fame ring.
I get it. I think the Super Bowl to me is more valuable. Now, many in the chat, I see you, Akbar, tells me a lot about some of you people. People don't care about winning.
Hold on.
It's the old saying though. The people who don't care about winning will tell you that winning doesn't matter. It's not, winning isn't everything. Well, those people, my friends, are losers. And I'm sorry, but I'm not a loser. I want to win. And if you win twice at the pinnacle of this sport, your story deserves to be told, whether you fucking like it or not. That's going into the Hall of Fame. 2 Super Bowl MVPs as the quarterback of a football team.
I'm spitballing here, kind of. I'm not really.
I know you're better. You're better than this.
I'm not
why
saying.
Does Jalen Hurts? Wait, this is perfect for you. Jalen Hurts, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's got the winningest record in Eagles quarterback history. He's 42-19. Okay, if he makes it to the NFC title game 5 times in his career, never ultimately wins a Super Bowl, you going to call him a Hall of Famer because he was a winner? Because he had a lot of wins?
Call him Donovan McNabb.
That's not a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Donovan McNabb's not a Hall of Famer.
I'm going to call him Donovan McNabb. But I'll tell you what, seriously.
Where's that meme? I got to find that
meme.
On social
being
media.
Considered one of the greatest football players ever to lace him up versus a guy winning 2 Super Bowls and being considered an okay player. You take the Super Bowls and yes, and you're an okay player.
You could, dude. You think
I'm not saying
You
what
think
I'm.
Eli Manning cares that we think he's a mediocre player? Eli
My
Manning
wife,
goes
by the
like
way,
this.
my wife thinks I'm full of shit on this.
I
topic.
don't give a shit what you think of me. I got 2 Super Bowl rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Hey, let me tell you what happened. So at the end, when Eli got up in front of the mic and started like talking about his retirement, this is what my wife says. My wife's an Eli Manning fan. She loves Eli.
And she thinks he's a Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah, she loves Eli. So I went like this. I go, hey, man, my wife's produced my show for 20 years. So she goes like this. I go, man, I got a lot more respect for Eli Manning after I listened to him at the podium. She goes, yeah, I'm fucking sure that he lost sleep at night because you fucking didn't have respect for him. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. No matter what you say, that guy walks into his den and he sees 2 Super Bowl rings with 2 Super Bowl MVPs. And by the way, he beat Brady. It wasn't like he beat nobody. He beat Brady. So I don't know. I think he was a very good quarterback, and he had great moments. There's 2 types. Oh, I love this. I saw this too, man.
There's winners and there's losers. And just so that we're clear, every time we step on this field, our goal is to be a winner. And if your dad has said, oh, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, just as long as you have fun, well, I hate to say it, your dad's a loser.
They got Dre in the background too going. That's freaking. Hey, they got Dre, man, doing that in the background.
I'm going to get flagged for that. I shouldn't have played it. That's all right. I'll remove it after.
All right, man. Hey, did we get all the supers?
No, we didn't even get close. We got distracted with Mannings. Abe says these next few games will test JH passing since we have been able to beat teams with running the ball. A lot to prove if our running game is stopped.
Who's JH? Is that Tyson Hill? Oh, yeah, you Jalen Hurts, right. Tyson Hurts, that's his new name.
This dude, man.
Hey,
he can be
one day
nasty.
win a Player of the Week award. Come on, kid. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Now, Sileo, the new Hall of Fame metric for Sileo is Player of the Week awards.
Mike Cain's kid's doing great, man. I love him.
He says, Xander, you're a man of the people. Keith, I don't even try to be. I try and give you the truth, the honesty, the truth, the justice, and the big Z way.
How about the Eagles dropping Justice League, man, under Twitter? I think you guys are trying to steal JAKIB. How you doing? Go ahead.
Martin Perez. Just wait, Sills. Once I get my income tax, you're going to get some adult dancing money from me.
I love that, Martin. Hey, Martin, if you didn't live in that shitty tax city with Philadelphia taxing, I mean shitty taxes in Philly, you would have more money. Okay? Maybe they'll change the tax code in Pennsylvania for you, brother. Holy cow. You talk about a city that taxes the people? Philly's one of them, Junior. Or you can go over to Passaic, New Jersey there, too. I'd talk about high taxes. Xander talking to me, yeah, I'm going to go live in New Jersey. I'm like, holy shit, where? Baltimore?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, Xander lives in Cape May now.
No, I don't. I'm right outside the city of brotherly love, baby.
This guy lives in a tree hut after paying me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tree hut. I'd be lucky if I could get a tree hut. Right now, it's just a stand up there. It's got no shelter, nothing. Abe says you play to win, not to say I played to play. Thank you, Abe.
I don't think a Hall of Fame ring is playing to play. Okay, you're one of the top players in the history of the sport.
There's only great, but I'm not delegitimizing.
There's only 300 men that have ever been in the Hall of Fame.
I know. I'm not a mainline kid, Bob. A lot of my friends in high school were, though. The St. Joe's prep guys grew up rich as hell. They were all mainline guys. I'm not a mainline guy. Montgomery County, Bob. But shit, now me and the train of thought. My ADD is kicking today.
It's them beer nuts you eat. Whatever the fuck you eat. Hey, yeah, by the way, man, do me a favor. Do they still have the guys on the Jersey Turnpike that fucking
dude, you're not allowed to pump gas in Jersey.
I fucking hate
that.
You
want to hear a funny story? Last year I was driving somewhere, and I think it was for the post-game show down in Atlantic City. And I'm pressed for time. I'm trying to get there. And I stop at the gas station on the expressway, toward the end of the expressway by AC, and the fucking worker's not out there. And I'm like, yo, dude. And I get out and I try and pump it. I put my card in and it eats my card. It's like, this isn't the manager's card. And then I had to wait. And I'm like, all right, I learned a good lesson there that I can't be trying to break the rules.
Big Sills likes to do this, man. Every time I get on the fucking Jersey Turnpike, I get off at Lombardi's rest stop. I go into Roy Rogers. I grab myself a bite. And then I got a guy in white gloves that won't let me pump my own gas. And I'm like, oh, what are we going here?
You know what's even funnier?
Fucking
you meet
stupid.
Somebody that grew up in Jersey. My girlfriend grew up in Jersey. I go to a gas station outside Jersey. She's like, I don't know how to pump gas. Gas? What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean pump gas? I'm like, get the fuck out of the car and pump some gas.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, that's how Jersey people are, though. I'm sure Philly 500 knows that. All right, let me get through these supers real quick. Sills, no. Birds linebackers not great on coverage, but get in the passing lanes in midfield with hopefully decent pass rush. Z, absolutely. And number 4, critical for a fast start. Problem hasn't happened yet. Hope for it. He's right. Hasn't happened yet. We're going to have to starting quicker for sure. Harv says, if the Rams jump out fast to an early lead, they can dictate and control the game. If the Eagles keep it close and use the line of scrimmage to lean on the Rams, the Eagles can win late.
I'm going to do the checklist with big Philly 500 too. I'm going to do that with his ass.
I don't even think we got to that. We were so distracted today. Devontae says, we got to throw quick passes and checkdowns that'll set the tone for the offense to get guys open. I love the big plays, but we got to play smart. I agree.
Tyson Hurts is not going to improve this year. The guy Kellen Moore has done dick to improve the passing game. They've done dick, man. That personally, they're 23rd in passing. Hey, Kellen, thanks for improving the run game. You've been great for 20 years running the ball.
Saquon improved the run game, not Kellen. Kellen didn't improve the run game.
You don't know how he did.
Khaled said, you think Mitchell will get a pick? I'm going to say no because he hasn't yet.
Cameron Kitchens will.
Oh, fuck Cameron Kitchens. Would you trade Jordan 6-0 for James's B-ball career? I'm taking Jordan's career. Are you kidding me?
His all-time leading scorer in the history of the sport, 4 wins.
I don't give a shit. Give me 6 rings, 6-0. Get out of there in 13 years.
Do you take the 7 rings and 7-3 with Brady, or do you take the 4-0 with Brady?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Never.
I'm probably taking Brady because it's more.
Never having thrown a pick in a Super Bowl, and he beat Marino.
I'm taking Brady. I'm taking Brady because he got more rings. He won more.
Right? He's 7-3 though. He's tasted defeat. That guy never saw defeat.
I know it's true, but he didn't quite win as much.
4 Super Bowls? That's pretty damn. I mean,
4 to 7. I mean, Brady almost doubled them.
Always remember this though. It's like Mayweather. There's a goose egg over there.
It's true. I love Mayweather, too. I'm a Mayweather guy. I love winners, if you can't tell. All right, let me get out of here. Philly 500 is ready to go.
Philly 500 wants a piece of this topic.
Wait, Philly 500, you don't let this motherfucker off the hook today because he said we're going to be 3-4 in our last 7 games, Philly 500. I got us 5-2 with maybe losses to the Ravens and Steelers, and maybe not. Maybe we go 6-1. Maybe we sweep. Maybe we run the table. We'll see how it plays out. Thanks, everybody.
You got 13 wins, right?
I had 13.
All right.
9 wins.
Great stuff, Xander. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you guys for the super chats, man. Those were all fantastic. I mean, you guys are killing it. That $100 super, too, was spectacular, T-Bone. Well, thank you very much. All supers will go to the top. Without further ado, by the way, man, I personally think yesterday, Philly 500 just said this. You know, man, I don't know. When I see Mark Holmes right now, man, it's like a guy in the streets of California who's homeless and he's in a fucking tent. I'm not gonna beat up a guy in a tent who like, I mean, this guy's eating at the soup kitchen. Have you seen how he looks? Mark Holmes looks like he eats at the soup kitchen. Let's get to my boy here, man, Philly 500. And hey, I think you were taking it easy on his ass.
No. There's no mercy. I want to crush that guy. It's not enough yet. I haven't had enough. I do think he's losing his mind. The guy's running around playing with a rubber chicken. I think he looks like he hasn't bathed in like a month. I mean, dude, he's really on the verge of going into the loony bin. I'm telling you, they're getting ready to pick him up during a stream and take him away. So, but no, there's no mercy. Believe me, I was very upset I couldn't make it yesterday. I was looking forward to that one too.
Oh no, don't worry. He's got a lot more pain coming his way.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Hey, especially with the way the Eagles are winning too. So, hey Ben, before I get into these other topics, you wanted a piece of this. Now we talked about over and underachieving. I said this: Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. You have 2 Hall of Fame wideouts. You have 2 Hall of Fame running backs. You have an offensive line that was intact for an entire 10 years. You had Tom Moore as your offensive coordinator for over 10 years. You had a Hall of Fame head coach and a Hall of Fame general manager, Bill Polian. They win 1 Super Bowl. Even the guy in Pittsburgh during the Brady era won 2.
Yeah.
I said the guy underachieved when he was in Indianapolis. Do you not agree with that?
No, I agree he underachieved, but I don't believe he's overrated. See, I think those are 2 distinct differences. You can underachieve and be a really good player. Peyton Manning is arguably the best regular season quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, he's probably the best regular season quarterback in history, but he never could win in the playoffs. It's true. And I don't think you can take away how good he was because he underachieved. He was
14 and 13 in the playoffs.
He couldn't win the big games. I think he was almost like a product of himself in that he had so much pressure he put on himself because he was so good in the regular season that I don't think he could handle it, because if you remember the games in the playoffs, he always tried to do too much, never trusted the players around him. However, the one thing he did do is he finally did beat Brady and get a Super Bowl. To me, that makes, in my opinion, no, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He is an underachiever, though. He should Peyton Manning. All right, let's say he has 4 Super Bowls right now, and Brady has 7. Peyton Manning would be considered the best quarterback of all time.
Okay, well then how about if I do this to you then? Why does Peyton Manning get a hall pass and Aaron Rodgers with 4 MVPs and a Super Bowl MVP? He's got just as many Super Bowl MVPs as Peyton Manning does, and this guy is one of the greatest throwers of the football, and he's 12-11 in the postseason. He has 1 less Super Bowl. However, when you look at the postseason record too, it's kind of compatible.
Horrible.
It's also when you look at, he's got more MVP. I think he has 1 less MVP. He's got more MVPs than Brady does Aaron Rodgers. Why does Aaron Rodgers take more shit than what Peyton Manning does? Because he's done just as much or almost as much as what Tom Brady has or Peyton Manning has.
I think the difference between Manning and Rodgers is, I mean, it's spectacular. No doubt about it. But I think, like I said, Peyton Manning is arguably I think he's the greatest regular season quarterback that I've ever seen. The guy put up huge numbers every year, no matter what. You even look at Brady early in his career. Brady really relied on that defense, smart playing, check down. He didn't have a lot of weapons.
And Vinatieri.
That defense, right. And Vinatieri, what would have happened if they don't call that whatever they call it. Yeah. What if the tuck was a fumble and the Raiders win that game?
Was a fumble.
I agree. Does Brady become Brady? I mean, who knows? But I think that there's a difference between being an underachiever or overachiever and being overrated and not. I think those are 2 different things.
Okay, well, let's do this with Eli. One last one here with this. So I threw this out to Xander, and I'll throw it to you. Eli Manning is up for the Hall of Fame, and we're putting these, and I work with a lot of Hall of Fame guys, and we're putting a list together for the Final 5, which I'm hoping that Eric Allen ends up becoming one of those Final 5 guys. I texted him last night, but here's Eli Manning. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, no doubt. But here's the last 10 years of his career. He's 67 and 80. His overall career, he's 117 and 117. He's got 241 touchdowns and 160 interceptions in the last 10 years. So the majority of his career, this guy's been mediocre, but he's got 2 spectacular moments. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? And did he under or overachieved?
He overachieved.
Is he overrated? Is he overrated? I think he's overrated.
I mean, I could see where you're coming from. That I think Eli is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I do think he eventually gets into the Hall of Fame, though. I think he will get there eventually because the wins that he had were against Brady, and one of them was against an undefeated team that had destroyed everybody.
And
He
Belichick.
did it right, and he did it as the last seed. One of those times having to go on the road in Green Bay, go on the road in Dallas, although that's not really doing much. But I think he gets into the Hall of Fame at some point. He had all the ice in his veins. His brother didn't. If you could take his,
he's one of the greatest streaky quarterbacks of all time.
Yes, absolutely. You were talking about Nick Foles yesterday. If you look at Nick Foles, I've never seen a guy so streaky. He could look like the best quarterback in the league, and he can then look like the worst quarterback in the league. He was another streaky guy, and he got hot at the right time. So,
but he always got hot. Philly, he always got hot in the postseason. Even the year after they won the Super Bowl, that game down in New Orleans, what's his name, Alshon Jeffries catches that pass and they get that first down, I think they're in the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row.
I agree. I think they win the whole thing. And then if you look at a few years when they had Chip Dip Kelly was the coach, they play New Orleans at home. Nick Foles left the field. He left the field with the lead. And that's also like Jim Kelly. You were talking about Kelly yesterday. I can't blame Kelly when your stupid field goal kicker misses an easy game-winning Super Bowl. He should have won a Super Bowl, So I think there's a difference between under and overachieving and not, and being overrated.
But doesn't the okay, so here, I'll ask this one. Would you rather have a Super Bowl ring or would you rather have a Hall of Fame ring?
I would like to think a Super Bowl ring. I would like to think that, but
so you don't want to be one of the 300 greatest players in the league history.
Yeah, I mean, it's very appealing.
You can have a Super Bowl ring like Foles and not be considered one of the greatest players of all time. And there's only 318 men in the history of the NFL that are in that Hall of Fame. Would you want to be one of those guys, or would you want to have?
But I would take it. It depends how I'm getting it. If I'm getting it like Nick Foles did, where you go up against the greatest player of all time, the greatest quarterback on time on the other, and you go toe to toe, I'll take that Super Bowl ring any day of the week. Same thing with Eli beating an undefeated Patriots team. I would take that over. So I think it really depends. If you're the Ravens, back in the early 2000s or whatever, Trent Dilfer, maybe I would take the Hall of Fame with that.
How about this, though, to your point? Not everybody remembers all the Hall of Famers, but they're going to remember Nick Foles, Philly, right. All that shit. I mean,
absolutely.
Like you said, that was a moment where obviously could have been one of the greatest performances in Super Bowl history. Brady threw for like 500 freaking yards in that game as well.
I know.
And that team was unbeaten. I mean, I get it. I mean, no, it was Manning that beat the unbeaten team.
Yeah, Manning beat the unbeaten team.
Yeah, Manning.
See, I'll tell you this, and Eagle fans get mad when I say this, but I seriously think if Carson Wentz is in that Super Bowl, I don't know that he does what Nick Foles did.
Angelo doesn't believe he wins it.
I don't think he does because he's played out of his whole career, he's played one half of playoff football. How do we know what he could do in that situation? I felt good about Nick Foles. I thought we would get to the Super Bowl with Foles, but lose. That's what I thought because I watched Nick Foles play New Orleans and played pretty good. So I thought he would do okay.
I thought he was great in Minnesota. Was it Minnesota in the NFC title
Minnesota game was, he wasn't that great in the Atlanta game.
No.
At the end, he started to get, made a couple completions. And then in that Minnesota game, he came out hot. And then in that Super Bowl, he was hot, All
right. I'll do this one here for you. I don't believe Kellen Moore has added anything to the passing game. I just don't see it. They're 23rd right now ranked in passing. You can say whatever you want about where they are right now. Run offense is improved because Howie brought in Barkley, not because of Kellen. He didn't improve it. And plus, the Eagles have been a good running attack for 14 years. I mean, Jalen Hurts in that passing game has not been anything but okay and spotty. I mean, you can do this, Philly. Let's just take the last 2 weeks. He's taken 8 sacks. He's had 2 turnovers, and he's had probably 4 quarters of bad ball and 2 quarters of good ball. I mean, It's been so up and down. You're going to need to have more consistent. Look, I think Jalen Hurts can get to a Super Bowl game, and win it. But do I think Jalen Hurts can play 4 games in a row in the playoffs or 3 games in a row in the playoffs to get there? I'm not so sure of that right now, because I haven't seen him play consistently for 3 games in a row in the passing game. Do you believe that you can win the way he's playing right now in the passing game based off the running game right now and the way your defense is playing? Can you get to that game?
They can get to the Super Bowl, the style of play they're playing. I believe they can do that. Yes, I believe they can win the whole damn thing. You can't tell me a good running game and a good defense can't win a Super Bowl. I believe it still can, even in today's football. I do think, though, that when you look at Hurts in the passing game, you are right. It hasn't improved that much, but it's also a tales of 2 halves all the time. If you look at 5 of those 8 sacks I know in that Dallas game came in like the first half. The first half is horrible. They're horrible. And then all of a sudden they played pretty good in the second half to make the stats way better than they are. But truthfully, I'm more worried. I think the style of play, they can win the whole thing. But I think you gotta be better in the first half, especially the first quarter. You can't play Detroit and go down 21-0 early. You can't have that. So to me, it's more of, can they be consistent and start playing better in the first half? Otherwise, yeah, I do think they've got the style of play that can win. I definitely think they can.
Okay, this is with the hindsight of what we know now, but I went back and looked. Today is the anniversary a year ago where you guys came out of Arrowhead and you won 21-17. Mm-hmm. You ran your record to 9-1. You're now 8-2 on the season. You're coming out of the Commander game. A year ago, I had people telling me at 9-1, beating the defending champions, that team was on the way to the Super Bowl. I saw glaring faults on that team a year ago, and I never bought into it. Why are you more convinced now versus a team that beat Mahomes last year in Arrowhead? Why are you more convinced now that this team is the team and last year's team, having beaten all those great players like Stafford and all them guys last year? I mean, you guys beat Tua. You beat so many good quarterbacks a year ago. Allen. Why are you more convinced right now at 8-2 than you were 9-1 a year ago?
Well, let me say this. I was one of those people that bought into it. I'm like, all right, they just beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. They beat Josh Allen. This team.
You're one of the few. You're one of the few truthful people, because I posed that to these folks, and they're lied through their teeth because people were going like this: "We're 9-1. We just beat the champs in their own crib." I'm glad to hear you say that, brother.
No, I mean, I did. I mean, why wouldn't I? It seemed like we weren't playing great football. We were struggling. Jalen was banged up, but we always found a way. And I always felt like, man, this team just keeps coming, and they're gonna and they're winning these tough games, and it's setting them up for the playoffs. And it totally collapsed. Now, the reason why I think it's a little different this year is a few things. One, I think you have better coaches, even though you might not like Kellen Moore. I still think he's a better offensive coordinator, and I think Vic Fangio is too. So I think they know how to stop certain things, from snowballing out of control. Two, you have the MVP of the league. If they didn't give it to or arguably one of the MVPs of this league in Barkley. Now, you didn't have that kind of weapon with this offense last year, and then the defense, of course, is way better than it was a year ago. Those are the reasons why I think you're in a better situation now.
Let me ask you something about Barkley. We brought this up yesterday. And I know the Super Bowl. By the way, I'll read the Super Chats, I promise here. Actually, this is to Philly here. Oh, look at this here, man. This is really nice. Look at Cooper, man.
That's my boy, the Flying Frenchman.
Yeah.
He ain't even French.
Absolutely here. I brought this up yesterday. And I know the number one objective is to win the Super Bowl. But I just looked at Barkley's numbers. Barkley's on pace to go for 2,000 rushing yards. He's on pace for almost 500 receiving yards, which is 2,500. But his touchdown numbers are going to be down.
Yeah.
which means this. It probably cost him a shot at the most valuable player award, which also means this. I mean, there's an incentive in the contract of Patrick Mahomes of $1.25 million. We're talking about a running back here. We're not talking about a quarterback. And Barkley, this is probably Barkley's last great contract of making any kind of money. So my question to you is, will the Eagles cost him an opportunity at being the MVP of the league?
It's hard to say. I mean, the question I have is how many touchdowns would he have right now? You know, they said there was a statistic where he's been tackled like 11 times inside the 1 or 2 yard line. So those were all almost touchdowns. And then you have all the push tushes, right? I mean, he could arguably have 15 touchdowns right now. So yeah, maybe it does. But how often does a running back win MVP?
No, Peterson was the last to win it. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I mean, you got to agree that if you took all the quarterbacks. By the way, I love this right here too, man. This is why we get Philly on the program here too, man. I love it, man. Philly's great. We appreciate it. I look at him and I would make this. Take all the quarterbacks out of the conversation, Philly. I mean, is there anybody in the league playing better football than Saquon Barkley right now?
Or him and Henry. I mean,
Him and
the
Henry.
only guy I can think of. That's the only guy I can think of. And Henry's older. So you said that Barkley's probably getting his last contract. I think you look at Henry and Barkley. I don't think Barkley.
He's 27. He'll be 28 soon.
I think Barkley's got another 4 or 5 good years. Look, he played with them stinking Giants, and they ruined him. I used to tell everybody, you just put that guy, and I didn't know it was going to be the Eagles.
I didn't either.
I said, I just want to see Barkley with a good offense because I always thought he would be way better than what he was. And it turned out it's true. He's spectacular. Maybe it'll cost him MVP. I don't think he even cares, to be honest with you. I think he's shown to be a really good team player. You know,
I think he has too, and I get it. It's about winning the Super Bowl, but when you're talking about your legacy to try getting into camp, having an MVP and
if he gets 2,000 yards on the ground, and let's say he finishes with 13 touchdowns, I think he's got a shot.
Henry's got 13 touchdowns right now and 1,100 yards.
Yeah.
But see, here's the difference with Henry.
Line. Yeah.
Here's the difference with Henry, though, and Barkley. I don't think Henry is as important in Baltimore as Barkley is in Philly. Here's why. A year ago, Lamar Jackson won 14 games without him and had home field. I think he's just adding to the mix of Baltimore, and he's helping Lamar take some of the load off of the run game there. But I just personally think, again, I think Barkley is the most valuable person to his football team this year than any player in the league.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. You know, I mean, are we going to get 2 guys finishing with 2,000 yards? I don't know. But if Barkley got somehow 2,000 yards, I don't care about the extra touchdowns. I think you have to strongly consider him MVP.
I'm going to do a checklist with you, and this is going to be interesting because I want to hear. I mean, you are as good as I've seen when it comes to being unbiased, and you still have great passion for your birds. And I'm going to throw this at you here.
Okay.
Rams and Eagles going into Sunday. By the way, Philly, I'm not saying the Rams are winning this game. I'm just going by matchups here and what I see. I think the quarterback matchup favors Matthew Stafford throwing the football around. I think he's one of the 6 greatest passers that we've seen in the last 15 years. And the way that he spreads the football around, remember something, here's a guy that spreads it around to everybody. And I'll make the point here to you. And I just think he's a better quarterback, and he's one of the elite guys in the game, Super Bowl winner 3 years ago. I mean, he's one of the elite quarterbacks, and I think the advantage is with Stafford and the Rams over Hurts and the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking purely passing, sure. But when you add Jalen Hurts' legs into it, I think it evens it out.
Okay, like I said, okay, the only reason that he is in the conversation is his legs. It's not because of his arm. Now, here,
I don't
running
care.
back,
it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
Running back, clearly, Saquon Barkley. Even though the kid in LA is on pace for 1,300 yards and 14 TDs, having a nice year, Robinson, I think that no doubt Barkley is the guy.
Agreed. Yeah.
Number 1 wide receiver, AJ over Cup. I'm going to take AJ. I'm an AJ guy. I think AJ's my favorite guy on the planet, okay, when it comes to point yards after. Now, this is where I went. I said that I'm going with Puka Nacua over Devontae, and here's why. This guy gets the ball to him better. It's not that he's a better player. I don't think he's a better player than Devontae, but I think Stafford utilizes him more. I mean, look at over the last 3 weeks. You've had one game where he had 14 yards, another game where he had -2 yards. I mean,
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Devontae is you know,
he's a better player.
I think he is too. He's also dealing with a hamstring injury. I don't know what his status is going to be. So I give Puka Nacua that. I can say that.
Number 3 wide receiver, Robinson. He's on pace for 50 catches, 700 yards, and 9 TDs. I mean, you get nothing out of your 9. So at the end of the day, the wide receiving core in Los Angeles and the quarterback, I mean, skill set guys wise, they're better than the Eagles going into this game. Now, there's more factors we got to get to here, but I'm saying quarterback and the group, in my opinion, is better than what Philly has.
Right, because of the second and third wide receiver.
Yes, not because of one. One is better. One is clearly better. Well, yeah. I mean, Kupp. I think Kupp's on the backside of his career. I think
Kupp
he's on the back
down
9.
AJ's level. No, he's on AJ's level right now. He's
O-line is Eagles by far. However, the one thing that you have to always take into account here with the Rams, Stafford's third in getting the ball out the quickest of any quarterback in the league, which kind of helps his O-line. But still, because of the running attack, the Eagles have the O-line. The defensive line, you and I are probably going to disagree. I went Rams, and here's why. Versus on pace for 8 sacks. Kobe Turner's on pace for 10. Fisk is on pace for 10. They got better pass rushers. Xander said he'll take the interior guys because they're better interior-wise than what the Rams are. And I happen to agree with that. Yeah. But when it comes to pass rushing, I go Rams, and I think it's kind of maybe a push because they're better in the middle, the Eagles, and I think the Rams are better on the perimeter.
I agree. I actually agree with that.
Linebackers. I think there's no question that the linebacker play this year favors Philly. Even though they're a little suspect at times in the pass coverage, I think, hey, how about this, Philly? The 2012 team, you guys were on pace for 200. No, you guys ended up with Kaiser White and TJ Edwards. You get 287 tackles combined. This year, you might have a shot at 340 between the two with Dean and with, Zach Bond.
Bond has been unbelievable.
How about this, Zach Bond? One thing before I continue here. Zach Bond is in the range of $12 million to $15 million now. I had Marcus Hayes on the other day. He doesn't believe the Eagles are going to offer him a contract. Or they're going to let him walk.
I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna burn my house down if that happens. I'm gonna lose my mind. No, I actually could see that because they've done it before, but I think it would be a stupid mistake. Because look, Fangio's not going anywhere for a while. He's not going to be a head coach anymore.
No, I think he'll be here the next 3 years.
So you have a guy who fits his defense. Why wouldn't you keep him with Fangio for the next 3-4 years? So to me, I think you got to sign him. I do.
Now, to Yale's point, they changed the room up and they paid Barkley. Would they change the room up for this kid?
Well, they did. They have paid. See, I knew, the Barkley thing, they didn't change their philosophy. They just believed Barkley was a special back. Linebacker, they have paid linebackers, not a lot, but they've done it. They re-signed Trotter 1 year. I think Nigel Bradham got a deal after the Super Bowl. So they have done it, and it is possible. But if he's looking for, top linebacker money, it ain't going to happen.
He's 27 years old.
Yeah. But I don't think he's got a lot of wear and tear. How much did he play?
A lot of people are saying that he was a special teams guy in New Orleans the entire time.
Yeah.
DBs, I'm going to give the Eagles the DBs, even though Kitchens is 2-time defensive player of the week the last 2 and 3.
That's bullcrap. That's all bullcrap. That's Hollywood bullcrap. Those my
Hollywood.
guy Hollywood bullcrap. Yeah, they go.
You sound like Xander now. Wait a minute, the guy's
Yeah.
defensive player of the week 2 weeks out of the 3.
So who decided that? Some people out in Hollywood. Come on, man. My man Quinyon Mitchell shuts everybody down. Everybody is getting shut down. Why isn't he defensive player of the week?
I know. They don't. He's not won any of that.
They could give him all the awards he want. I'll take my two guys, him and Cooper DeJean. I'll take them any day of the week.
Coaching, I might go push here because here, McVay is a superior offensive coordinator, and so is Vic. Kellen's okay, and Chris Shula, in my opinion, I don't know anything about Chris Shula. I don't know who he is. He's a DC when it comes to the Rams. Who would you give the edge to here in this game?
I give the Eagles. I
Based on
think Vic Fangio. I really like Fangio. I mean, the Rams to me are going to win with their offense. I like the matchup of putting the Eagles secondary and Vic Fangio up against that offense in that passing game. I think they're going to be able. Listen, I'm not going to say those guys won't get plays and won't get yards, but I think overall I trust Vic Fangio to go out there and put a good game plan together for that defense. The defense is why I think the Eagles win this game. And I think that would be my choice.
And Sean McVay, though, 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl. And you think Vic's
for
better.
whatever reason it is, also, dude, they can't beat us. We've beaten them every time we've gone to LA since 2017. So we have beaten McVay over and over again. I don't think it's going to be any different. I also think that Jalen Carter is going to be a problem on Sunday.
Okay. So you've got the Birds winning this game.
Yes.
All right. I said this. Rams, Ravens, Carolina, Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. Over the next 7, what do you think the record is?
I would say 6-1, maybe 5-6.
6-1.
Yes,
Holy
absolutely.
Shit.
Who's going to beat us?
6-1.
Who's going to beat us? The Rams aren't beating us.
3-4.
Who you got beating us? What are you smoking? What are you smoking?
3-4. It's 6. You sound like homie.
What are you talking about? Like, you tell me what team that we're playing on our schedule scares you? Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson? Come on. Pittsburgh has never beaten
I don't
Philly.
know how do you look at your team now and know who they are when you have played nobodies?
What, Green Bay was a nobody?
Okay.
Washington was the flavor of the week, right?
Okay.
Everybody, Washington.
There's 10 teams you've played. You've got 2.
I thought the Bengal win was a really good win.
Bengal win? I'm with you. 3.
Right, okay. So how many teams in this league?
So you've got
how many of the best teams in this league have played 3
I'm going to
quality
go
wins?
here with you. Watch this.
Okay.
I'll say this to you. Well, that's right. I don't know. I don't think there's a dominant team in this league at all this year. I think it's wide open. I don't know who right now on November 21st is a team that could not. I think anybody can beat anyone right now. And to sit there and me go like this, well, here they are again at 8-2. Last year they're 9-1, and here we are again. We're having the same conversations except for this. And by the way, you guys again, when people go, Sills, you only play what's on your schedule. I'm not suggesting that you're not, but you're playing a bad schedule. Last year you played a tougher schedule, and you felt
way tougher. Yeah, but here's the thing. There were cracks that we all and you know, especially me, I'll be the first to admit it, did overlook last year. There were things that happening last year that you should have said, yeah, you know what? There are things that are going to flare up. I mean, that team had an epic historical collapse. If you tell me that's going to happen 2 times, 2 years in a row, I can't see it. The difference between this team and that team is this team is getting better. They're not, they haven't peaked yet. Their trajectory is going up. And then you look at the schedule, Ravens, okay, tough game. Then what? They got Carolina. That they should win that.
Steelers.
Pittsburgh has never beaten Philly in Philly. They've never done it. So I don't believe they're going to come in there. And then who else is on that schedule that's so hard that we can't beat? I mean, I don't see how we, at worst, we don't lose more. If we lose more than 2 games, I'd be shocked and pissed off.
Okay. Here's how
I think Detroit's got a problem. I think Detroit's got a big problem coming.
Where's your advantage against Detroit?
I think that run game and the defense.
Wait,
take Eagles defense.
They got 2 backs over 1,400 yards this year.
I get it, but they don't have Barkley. And here's the thing. I take the Eagles defense over their defense. So I'd rather have the Eagles defense go up against their offense than their defense go up against my offense.
How about their O-line? Their O-line's comparable.
O-line's great O-line. I think a lot of that is going to be who's got home field. If Detroit has to come to Philly in January outdoors, that could be a problem.
Definitely a problem. That's a great point about playing in the dome. Here's the playoff picture right now, and you tell me if you agree. Washington, this is how it would play out right now. Washington, you would get Jaden Daniels in Philly. Love would play Kyler Murray in Phoenix. You get Sam Darnold playing Cousins in Atlanta. Now you take a look at the other side, and you look at the AFC. You got Bo Nix versus Allen. Then you would have Lamar Jackson versus Russell Wilson. And then you would have Herbert versus C.J. Stroud. Obviously, and I'll say this, I think the quarterback play is obviously still in the AFC, but maybe the rosters are in the NFC, like the better rosters, Detroit, Philly, Green Bay.
I think Detroit, Philly drop off. So I don't think those other teams are as good as even some of their record suggests. So I think it's Philly and Detroit and then everybody else in the NFC.
That's how I look at it too. It's Detroit, Philly, and then after that, it's a crapshoot. Arizona, Atlanta, Minnesota, Green Bay, Washington. I think you could throw those teams in a hat and come out with any order, right?
I agree. I totally agree.
And then you look at the AFC. Yeah, I think you can even do the top seed and put them in a hat. KC, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Houston, the Chargers, Baltimore. Maybe not Denver. Maybe top 6 you can go here, right?
See, that for Baltimore, it's going to come down. Can Lamar Jackson win in the playoffs? We talk about good players who underachieve. Lamar Jackson has been an underachiever in the playoffs, but he's been great in regular seasons, right? 1, 2 MVPs. So can he win in the playoffs? Russell Wilson can win in the playoffs. I think that the AFC comes out. I think it's still going to end up being. I think it's going to be Buffalo, Kansas City in the AFC, and the Eagles in Detroit in the NFC. That's kind of how I think it's going to play out.
Are you enjoying watching your boy Mark Holmes?
I love it.
Yesterday, I felt so bad for I served him up for Eagle fans. It was kind of like, you have a lion down there at the zoo, and you kind of throw a piece of meat out there. And the guy ends up eating on the guy, and they ate on him for about an hour. I mean, dude, the Cowboys, have you ever seen the Cowboys this bad?
Well, they've had some really bad years, so we have seen them bad. I've never seen them expect that they were going to go in and win a Super Bowl and they were better than everybody else. And then
I picked them to win 5 games this year.
Yeah, well, I said they would finish in 3rd place because when you looked at it, you said, well, they still can't stop the run. And they can't run the ball. So how are they going to beat anybody? And that's the kind of what I thought. And then, of course, the injuries. What I don't want from Mark, and see, he's already trying to do this. He tries to come on, make you feel sorry for him. He looks like he's crazy with the chicken, right? Then what he does is he starts to talk about, well, if Dak didn't get hurt, well, Dak. And this whole thing is all about making and giving an excuse that Dak Prescott was hurt. And that's why they were bad. And no, you were bad with Dak Prescott. He stunk. And I'm not letting him off the hook. Not letting him off the hook.
Last one here. So, do you believe that the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts underachieved in 2022?
2022. Do I think they underachieved? No.
So, not winning the Super Bowl.
No, because I didn't think of them as a team that was ready to go win a Super Bowl in 2022. I thought they were a playoff team, maybe get to the NFC Championship game. They were way better than I thought they were going to be. So to me, no, I don't think they underachieved that year at all.
Okay. So,
but I would say they underachieved the following year.
okay, so you think they underachieved in 2023?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So if they don't win the Super Bowl in 2024, will they underachieve?
No, because I had him going to the NFC.
You're not picking them to go to the Super Bowl?
Well, I didn't pick him to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. Now, do I think have my expectations going up? Yeah, when I've seen this defense start to play and the way Saquon's looked, my expectations have gone up. But my goal was I thought they had to get to at least an NFC Championship game. That's what I thought. So, to me, they look like they're on pace to get where I want. Now, if you beat Detroit, then yeah, you got further than I thought you were.
So over the last 3 years, according to you and Xander, they go 13-4 and they go 38-13 in 3 years with no chip. Is that over or underachieving with the amount of money you spent and the quarterback and the money you dropped on him over the 3 years? If they don't win it all, do you think that's under or over?
No, it's under. You got to win one. You got to win one of these. Under.
See, one validates the other years, right?
Right. Yeah, you got to win one. It doesn't have to be necessarily this year, but some point in the course of Hurts' career with the Eagles, you've got to win one. Otherwise, yeah, I would say it's underachieving. Just like I would say, all those NFC Championship games with McNabb, those teams underachieved. They should have won at least one Super Bowl.
They got to one. They didn't win it, obviously, against New England. Philly. Absolutely great stuff. I loved our conversation today, man. You guys,
yeah, man. Thank you.
Really great stuff, man. Make sure you check him out on his website and on his network. It's absolutely spectacular. Brother, tell the folks how they can find you.
Just type in Philly 500 or Mark Holmes. I'm sure I'll come up in that too, since he always is putting me on his channel. So, I'm there.
All good, brother.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Man. Appreciate it.
Love you too, man. Thank you.
Just absolutely legendary, man. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Hey, Xander, do we have any super chats that we have to read here? Because I saw a couple super chats. Barkley MVP. Sounds good. Sounds good. Cup had a triple crown, no MVP. I think he was the offensive player of the year that particular season when he won the triple crown in receiving. 500 needs to be on a JAKIB postgame show. We love him, man. Same thing here, Jameson. We appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Guys have been great. Philly 500 inspired me to play football. It's the Frenchman. Way to go. All right, man. Guys were great. I appreciate it. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Hit the like button. You try to drag us down. You can't. You try to beat us. You can't. Everyone taking shots at JAKIB. Not happening. And I know you're watching. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there'll be about 7 million articles written. Don't worry, Xander, I won't say. Oh, yeah. Media. They fucking hate us. I love it. I wish I had a merit badge that said, they hate JAKIB and Big Sills. Oh, my God. That's the greatest compliment in broadcasting. I love it. It's great to be here. By the way, we now are an exclusive group. What you do is when you go to battle, the dead weight gets killed. And the guys you go to war with, here, I'll give you this. John Madden told me this years ago. Xander, you're going to love this. Okay? John Madden said this to me. Just when the boat starts taking water on, you're going down a little bit and you're floundering. The rats come to the top. They start jumping off the ship. The ones that don't jump off the ship, those are the ones you want to fucking go to sea with. That's what we got. That's what you got here. How you doing? There's a target on my back. There's been a target on my back for 20 years, 30 years actually. Oh, article after article after article written about Big Sills, now JAKIB and Big Sills. It's fucking great. My God almighty, am I so inspired by what Xander just gave me a little tidbit of something. I'm so inspired. Can't ruin it. By the way, I saw somebody write down earlier about potential draft picks that the Eagles will look at in 2025. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Also, I want to tell you, there's a guy that's being nominated to the Hall of Fame. I'm really glad. My Heisman Trophy pick, I'm about ready to send it in. And I want to go here first. So CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs, after getting fucking murdered on Monday night by the Texans, turn around and they do they go to a bar that night and they do a music video because, you know, they're superstars. No self-awareness, no self-accountability. So CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs are doing a music video. You got to love these guys today, man. They have no focus on what reality is. on being a champion. That's not being a champion. I'm sorry. If that's old school, I'll act like Tom Brady every day. That's zero awareness. Jalen Hurts going to GMA and talking about helping inner city kids in inner city schools in Philadelphia. Dude, that's one thing. That's a cool thing. And by the way, I'm all over that because he's the face of my franchise and he's going to inspire people. That fucking doesn't inspire anybody. It actually repels people. You know why the Cowboys will never be good? Is because you allow that kind of behavior. Let me say this to you, man. Coach I had that won all them Super Bowls when he was there in Dallas, the guy who won national championships and the guy who groomed me on being the champion that I am, you know what? He would never tolerate that shit. Every road trip we went on, I'll never forget this. We went on a road trip and we went to Pitt to play Pittsburgh. And we were in Pittsburgh. Guys were jackassing around, and I was one of them. We were back there barking, having a fun time. Here comes Jimmy. Jimmy comes walking back there. You know what he said to us? You motherfuckers. Sorry, Aunt Betty. You motherfuckers. You think this is a joyride? This is a business trip. I'll send every one of your asses home. And then he looked at me and Highsmith. Every one of you, I'll send home. This is a business trip. Turned around and walked away. I'll give you another one. Michael Irvin was late getting on the bus once when we were in Dallas. Jimmy said, let's go. Michael had to get him. He had to get his own ticket, fly to Washington because the bus took off. Once the bus takes off, he don't care who's not on it. It's up to you to get your ass there. Michael Irvin had to buy a plane ticket, get his ass to Washington. He got there, and he met the team when they were in Reagan International. Jimmy looked at him, got on a team bus. All was good. Okay? Devontae Smith did not practice today. That's the second day in a row. No Devontae. Sills, just give Jalen Hurts a compliment. Okay. Hey, man, he looks and reminds me a lot of Taysom Hill. Fantastic. Like a Swiss Army knife. Like a Swiss Army knife. Hey, outstanding. He reminds me of Taysom Hill. Yeah, man, Jimmy Johnson's not putting up with any of that shit. No Devontae. This is going to weigh into my predictions for tomorrow. Devontae won't play, hamstring injury on Sunday. Jahan Dotson, he'll be playing. So let me write this down here. Hamstring, Chris. Yeah. Wow. Absolutely, man. Look at this shit. All right. So we haven't done this yet. This would be the first time we've done this year. I've written down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I think the Philadelphia Eagles could take a look at in the upcoming 2025 NFL draft. What position of need do you think the Eagles will address in the upcoming draft? By the way, Milton Williams probably be on his way out of town. I do not believe they'll re-sign him. I think Milton will be out, 1-year contract, and I think they'll let him walk, and I think they'll let him roll out of town. Chris says DE. Eduardo's got edge. Jalen Hurts' running style, when he runs inside, reminds me of Marcus Allen. What a great runner. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt he's a great wildcat quarterback. Can't throw the ball to save his life, but he's good. Devontae only catches for 20 yards anyway. Yeah, your passing game, you don't have one anyway. What do you care? Absolutely. Ooh, Pat. Look at Pat. Hit the like button, guys. Holy shit, Pat. You Philadelphia non-college football fans. Hey, by the way, I had somebody suggest that they're going to shut down the Temple football program. What a crime. Temple's been around since the 1800s. You're going to shut that program down? I mean, for a football city like that, Temple football started when? Wasn't it one of the first programs in the country? What year did it start? 1894. You're going to fucking shut that program down? Man, that's a damn shame. Man. Here we go. Yeah, well, 1894. Rutgers was the first. Rutgers, UPenn or Princeton, I think started, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Eduardo. Yeah, you know what, Eduardo? I'm an old school guy. I believe in championships and playing to perfection. Some people in Philly believe, well, 8-2 is cool, right? M. Reyes. Pat, very nice, man. All right. Here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I think the Eagles could take a look at. Sales, Jordan Davis, replace him. No, I'm not replacing Jordan Davis yet. I'm just not paying him. If Jordan Davis wants to get picked up, like I said, Jordan Davis right now is a concern financially. If he wants to stay in town, that's fine. But a 5th-year option, Jordan Davis, DT, 5th-year option, 2025, excuse me. Money. Here, this will determine if I'm going to bring him back. I'm not paying him that. 5th-year option. Defensive ends. Defensive tackles. I'm not paying him $22 million on a 5th-year option. $22 million for Jordan Davis? Are you high? For a guy who plays 20 plays? Who in their right mind would pay that? Hey, the next time John says that people don't understand him, and he's on Birds 365 with Xander, and Xander's telling you how good he is, okay, ask this question to those guys. Do you want to pay $22 million on a 5th-year option or $23 million next year to Jordan Davis? Money's part of this. This is not high school and college football. Money's an equation, a 5th-year option. You're going to pay him $23 million? Or are you going to try to restructure that contract? Okay. Yeah, he's got a contract coming up. And I am not paying that guy that. Not paying him $23 million for a guy who's a 2-down dude. Hey, by the way, do I not want him on the team? That's not what I said. $22 million, though. For a guy who plays 2 downs? No, thank you. Davis isn't useless like Huff. He's not living up to the 13th pick. That was their fault for picking so soon. Supposedly Ravens wanted him. Hey, Forrest, okay, are you paying him $22 million on a 5th-year option? Seals, did Jeffrey Simmons get paid at DT from the Titans? Because I would love to add him to Carter. I think he got a contract a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Put a Bond replacement on the list, Sales, since our FO won't play linebackers, maybe a tight end since Dallas is hurt each and every single game. I don't know if they'll go first round. You think they'll go first round tight end? I don't see a Brock Bowers in that draft. And linebacker in the first round? I don't know. Sills, Jordan Davis should focus more on stuffing the run instead of wanting to pass rush. I think he's got to give them a hometown discount. And by the way, do I think anybody out there will give him $22 million? No. So that could be a factor too. He's not going to get $22 million on the open. If the Eagles go like this, go see what you can get. And he floats around on that 5th-year option. By the way, I wouldn't sign him. I want to see what he does next year. I'm not offering him a contract this offseason. He hasn't done enough to deserve an upfront contract. I wouldn't pay him because it's going to be a big number. Not paying that option, but don't re-sign, that's a hole. It is. But maybe because, again, he's a two-down guy and he's being defined as a two-down guy. Dalton, thank you for the super chat. Edge first linebacker, TE in general, okay? They're not going to keep Milton. I think you're going to have Milton out the door and potentially not this coming year because you have another year with Davis. Sills, what can we do as fans to make these Philly organizations change their philosophies? I think Saquon Barkley changed their philosophy. I did. And do. I do. A lot of great T's didn't get many sacks. Hoss, it's not that he doesn't get many sacks. He only plays 20 plays a game. There's 65 in a game. I mean, he doesn't play enough plays. You're going to pay a guy $23 million for 20 plays a game? You're not doing that. It's wasted money. Now, am I picking the 5th-year option up when it comes for Jordan Davis at $23 million? Yeah. Or for Jalen Carter? Yes. Absolutely. This guy wants to pay a guy who plays 20 snaps $23 million. Give me a break. I get 2 good dudes for that. BG retires. Milton may be gone. Davis, no 5th year, but you still have Davis for the 5th year. Yeah, Howie and his guys will be scouting D linemen. They will be. Honestly, re-sign Bond. I don't think they're going to. Drafted DC, also signed a big-name vet at DT. There has to be someone out there. Sills, how about the top 5 edge rushers Eagles should look at in 25 draft? Banyas, I saw this earlier from you. So I wrote these names down. I hate to do this to you, but that kid, Javon Walker, from Georgia, edge rusher, 6'2", 245. Watch him play. He's a pretty good football player, man. That's not going to frighten me away with all the Georgia guys, but he's a good football player. Landon Jackson, that's the guy from Arkansas that Pat was talking about. He's 6'7", 280. And I watched him play against Texas. He can play. I got to figure out who I like a lot, but I'm starting to get and siphon through these. And one thing, Xander, even you and everyone has to say, I don't really get my draft picks wrong. I mean, I don't get my draft picks wrong. I was the first guy really in Philly talking about Edgerrin Cooper and Wilson from NC State. Going after those linebackers. We were talking about that like in February. Even probably in the earlier year that those 2 guys were going to be great players. And they're good players. We talked about McDuffie. McDuffie's a Pro Bowl corner already. But this kid here from Arkansas, Landon Jackson, looks like he's a pretty good football player. Donovan Jackson, offensive guard from Ohio State, 6'5", 320. Would they go into the offensive line because of what's going on over at right guard? Would they draft a guy in the first round? I think they would. They're not re-signing Becton. Becton's going to command $15 million. Okay? He's going to command $15 million. I do not believe they're going to re-sign him. Becton's going to go out, unless Becton gives them, because you have Trevor Keegan and you have Tyler Steen still sitting there, who's not bad. Steen's picking his game up. Okay? And I agree. I think Trevor Keegan is the future at right guard for the Eagles. And I think the Eagles know that. And plus, they got him on a rookie contract. He's a 5th-round pick. In any other year, I said this, Trevor Keegan's a 3rd-rounder. But because the O-line position was so deep last April, or this past April, that, he went in the 5th. This guy had over 35 starts at Michigan. He was the team captain. And every time I've seen him play, he looks pretty good. I like him. So I'm pretty good here. And I think they will lose Becton. Now, I think Becton, Andre Diller got an 11 annual deal from Tennessee. Becton will probably get a $15 million deal annually. And do I think the Eagles will get this? So you're going to pay $20 million for Mulata, $20 million for Landon. You're on a rookie deal with Juergen still. You're going to turn around and pay $15 million for Becton, and then you're going to pay another $25 for Landon or for Lane. Man, that's a lot of dough in the O-line. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in the O-line, but that's a lot of money. And by the way, that's a good one for us. Hey, Fred Johnson, in my opinion, is somebody that I'm happy with. I know that there were times he got beat. He's going against elite pass rushers. Brian Burns, Trey Hendrickson. I mean, he's a good football player, man. And the head coach or the offensive line guy is doing a spectacular job with that. Here's the guy that I like a lot. Xander, I don't know if you've seen him play. He's another Southeastern Conference guy. This guy, James Pierce from Tennessee, can fucking rush the passer. This is somebody here that I like. And he reminds me of Javon Curse a little. And if you like Javon Curse rushing the passer, you're going to like this guy, James Pierce. I think this dude can get home. And I think this guy's a good football player. So keep an eye on this guy. Now, there's another dude, and he's from Ole Miss. If you notice, only one guy is not from the Southeastern Conference. That's the old lineman, Jackson, from Ohio State. All the rest of these guys are SEC dudes. This guy, Prince Uman Nicholson from Ole Miss. Watch this guy play ball too. He is a pretty good player. This kid from Ole Miss. And one thing that you got to really like with Lane Kiffin has done a really nice job at recruiting Ole Miss, especially on the Umin. Yes. Thank you, Kyle. Especially on the defensive side. I think he's done a really nice job at recruiting. Okay. Unfortunately, Zach Bond played himself out of a contract with the Eagles. Time to sign him as was a month ago. How we should let Vic go through the film on linebackers for the upcoming draft and free agency. I'm sure they'll do that. Seals, if you want the best line, you have to pay. Well, Richard, let's take a look at that. The Cowboy O-line with Emmett. You had Mark Tuney, who was a converted D tackle from the University of Ohio. You had a 3rd round in Crawford Kerr out of Florida. You had a 6th rounder or a 2nd rounder in Stebnoski. You had a free agent, Nate Newton. And I don't believe Eric Williams was a 1st rounder. I think you have to have the right coach and a running back. I don't think you have to have 1st round picks. Just take a look at your guys. Okay? But you're saying you got to pay. Okay. Mulata's a 7th. Dickerson's a 2nd. Juergens is a 2nd. You got a 3rd rounder in Steen, and you got a free agent in Becton at right guard. The only 1st rounder you have in the O-line is Lane. You have a 7th, 2 2s, a 3rd, and a 1. That's pretty good. That's actually exceptional. Okay? A 7th rounder, 2 second rounders, Dickerson and Juergens, and a 3rd rounder in Steen and free agent with Becton. And you got a 5th rounder in the waiting with Keegan. And you got a 1st rounder, 5th pick overall, I believe, out of OU was Lane. That's how you build an O-line. Look at what the Eagles have done. The Eagles got the 9th pick with Carter, total hit. The nose tackle, the 13th pick, not so much. Again, he's a good player, but I don't believe he's a 1st-round talent. He's more like a 3rd-round talent. When I see him play, he reminds me of a 3rd-rounder. And I'm talking Jordan Davis. It blows my mind, Sills, that there's not one person on the Eagles defense that got an extension other than Sweat. And Huff, Bond will get an extension. I don't believe they're going to give him an extension. Sills, who's your favorite O-lineman from the Eagles? It's between Landon and Mulata. I really like Landon. But I'm going to take Jordan. I'm going to take Jordan Mulata. I'm going to take Mulata because he's a 7th rounder and he's the best athlete on your team. She says, do we spend a pick in the first 3 rounds for Lane's future replacement or hope for a diamond in the rough in the latter rounds that we can develop with Stoutland? Professor, I don't think they're in any kind of hurry to find that guy for Lane right now. I think Lane's probably got 2 more years left. I think you'll find him. And I think you're developing him. I think you can move Fred Johnson out there and have him play out there until you find a better player if you want. Dude, that coach is so good. And by the way, Professor, Jeff Stoutland's developing players right now in front of your eyes. When I heard that every single one of the offensive linemen get as many reps as the first team guys, Jeff Stoutland is developing O-linemen every week. So they're developing people now. They're creating depth. Jordan Mulata is the best athlete on your football team. The guy never played football 5-6 years ago. And now he's the 3rd or 4th best OT in the business. And he's the 3rd highest paid left tackle. Freaking incredible. I've never seen anything like a guy never. You see that sometimes with tight ends. You don't see that with left tackles. I think there's more technique playing left tackle than playing tight end. I like Mulata over Peters. Don't go there. Jason Peters is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay? My friend, Jason Peters is one of the greatest O-linemen in the last 25 years. You're forgetting who Jason Peters was. And yeah, Yale just said it. He's still freaking playing. I mean, they beg him to play Jason Peters. That shows you how great it is. Man, I wish I had somebody doing that shit to me. Hey, kid, you still play? He's 42 years old. He's a Super Bowl champion. He is a 9-time Pro Bowler. He's on the NFL's all-decade team. He is a 5-time All-Pro. I mean, and let me look at this. Hey, Yale. He's 300 and 38 pounds, and he ran a 4.87. I ran a 4.81, and I was 292. This guy's 6'4", 6'5", 338, running 4.87s. Okay. I mean, most of those guys are 5'2" guys. They don't run that like that. I mean, what a freaking football player Jason Peters was. Just an absolute insane player. I mean, he's a first ballot guy. Games played, 250 football games. He started 225 of those games. I mean, I didn't realize I forgot he was an Arkansas guy. What a great player. I mean, last 25 years, left tackles, top 3. Like Lane versus him. Peters is better. Peters versus Trent Williams. Trent by this much. Those two dudes are special. Okay? Those two dudes are special. Take Peters over Trent. Not me. Not me. Trent Williams will be a first ballot himself. Trent Williams is a great football player, and he is an earth mover. He ran a 4.8 flat at 6'6", 330. And he's an OU guy too. He's an 11-time first-team All-Pro. He is a 5-time he's an 11-time Pro Bowler, and he's a 5-time All-Pro. I mean, anytime you're plus 10, anytime you're over 9 Pro Bowls, there's very few people on the planet at that position that are over 10. Lawrence Taylor's at 10. Okay? Trent Williams is a great player. I will always give Trent Williams props just because he beat cancer and still elite. Yeah, Washington screwed him over massively when he was in Washington. They misdiagnosed him. He says, if you could build your O-line, who would you pick? I like that. I like topics like that. Okay? Huh. Okay. I would say I'm doing this off the top of my head here, but let me put it here. I'll tell you my best O-line. Okay, got it. If I had to put my O-line together, my greatest O-line that I would want, it would be Anthony Munoz at left tackle, Bruce Matthews at left guard, Jason Kelce at center, Allen from the Cowboys at right guard, and I'd put Jackie Slater, who, by the way, you saw on this program, at right tackle. That Jackie would be on my O-line. Jackie's the greatest, one of the greatest, if not the greatest right tackle that's ever played the game. So it would be Munoz at left, Bruce Matthews at left guard, Kelsey at center, Allen at right guard, and Jackie Slater would be my right tackle. Kelsey over Webster and Otto. Yeah. I just like the way Kelsey got on the second and third level. Kelsey's one of the greatest centers I've ever seen. I got great respect for him. Okay? I've got great respect for him and how he played the game. I love what he's doing too as a personality, but as a player, I mean, he was absolutely sensational as a football player. Yeah, Jackie's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's a 5-time All-Pro. He blocked for Walter Payton. He started 220 games. He played in 259, and he played 20 years in the National Football League, and he was elected to the whole Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was a third rounder in the 76 draft. Slater was selected to 9 Pro Bowls and broke a record for the most seasons with one team. He played 20 years for the Rams. And in that 20 years, the Rams, 12 of those years were either in the top 3 in rushing or in the top 2 in rushing. Slater played 20. You're never really going to see that. Seals, did Utah Jones make the Hall of Fame? I forgot. Jones make what Hall of Fame? I remember Jackie from back in the day. He played with Merlin. Merlin was there first. Merlin was truly a great player. He played with him. There's a guy that's being nominated, Too Tall Jones. I played with Too Tall. Too Tall is one of my favorite people. Steve Wisniewski from Penn State has been nominated. I got asked about him last night, and Steve reached out to me. Steve and I got a great history. That night, Penn State, when they beat us, I killed them in the game. And it was one of my kudo games. You watch a game, I led the Canes in tackles. First play of the game, I had a 15-yard sack. We held them like 140 yards total offense. I really had a great game. So did Jerome. He's been nominated to the Hall of Fame. He goes, "Do you think I have a chance?" I said, "I do." And I'll never forget that game. Told you this before, as the clock was ticking off and Vinny had thrown the final pick in that game, it was Steve that looked over at me and said this: "We beat these fuckers. We beat the monsters." I'm sitting there going like this. I'm looking him in the face. Shane Conlon reminded me of it today. And I'm looking him in the face, and I'm just looking at him. As soon as the game was over, he reached his hand out. And I looked at him, and I go, years later, I was doing broadcasting at KMBR, and he called me up on the air. Just, "Hey, Sileo, you're one of the only people ever to kick my ass in a game." We became such great friends. We played golf. I went over to his house. I really love Steve Wisniewski. And I'm pulling for him to make the Hall of Fame. I think he should. And I think he has the accolades to make it. I think that the only thing that's kind of hurting him is that he never won. He was supposed to be a Dallas Cowboy, but Jimmy traded him to the Raiders. And he traded him to the Raiders. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, and he made the All-Pro team 6 times. He was a really great player. He was on that 86 national championship team, Penn State. He was a really great football player. So it's another question. Would you have brought in Kingsbury knowing he would probably lose Stoutland? No. That's a deal breaker. As much as I think Cliff Kingsbury is the better coordinator for Jalen, I'm not losing Jeff. Why? So he can go to New York, build an O-line up there, or Washington, or somewhere else? I'm not doing that. That's a deal breaker, man. Dude, That guy creates millionaires in great old linemen. He's a great talent evaluator, Chef Stoutland. He's a great developer of talent. I am not getting rid of that coach. By the way, I would fire Sirianni before him. I would never in a million years let that guy get out of the building. No way. Deion isn't going anywhere. He just signed a 5-year, 5-star quarterback, Julian Lewis, the number 2 recruit in 2025 ESPN. That doesn't mean he won't go anywhere. That does not mean that. That just means this. When he negotiates his contract, the future at Colorado looks better. And for the next guy coming in. Remember, man, Jackson State, I didn't know who they were. I knew who they were, HBCU, great. But, I mean, that's where Jackie played, actually, Jackie Slater. But, I mean, they weren't very good. Deion left that thing in great shape. He would leave Colorado in great shape. A lot of visibility. But if somebody comes to you and offers you $10 million or $15 million to coach the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm not sure they will. By the way, why would Deion take the Cowboy job? To listen to Jerry? He's his own man. He has his own moat in Colorado now. I would rather coach at the college level today than at the pros, unless I got a great job with a great GM. Why would I go coach in the pros? Think about this, Yale. I can coach at Iowa, like Kirk Ferentz, make $11 million a year, go 8-4, and no one's going to take a shit on me. If I make $11 million and I'm coaching the Carolina Panthers and David Tepper has a hissy fit, he's firing me after 4 games. That's not what I'm looking for. I mean, I could go to college and sit there and I'm my own boss. That's why when Jim Harbaugh left Michigan, he had to have complete autonomy. He had to be the GM, and he also wanted to have control of the coaching staff and personnel department. Jim Harbaugh has as much power as any coach in football today when it comes to the Chargers. He has complete say over that organization. He is the GM. Okay? So get this. Sills, could Deion be asked to be the Bears head coach? Why would he take that job? The Bears are a train wreck organization. Why would I work for a bad boss? Deion can handpick his jobs now. He doesn't have to. By the way, he's done a nice job at Colorado. I'm wrong. He turned it around. They're winning games. Now he's got a quarterback to take over for Shador. Replacing Travis Hunter is going to be the guy. You know, they have an outside shot of playing in the Big 12 title game. All right, let me take a timeout. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Here are my top 5 April draft picks so far. I got Travis Hunter 1 going to Jacksonville. Cam Ward going to Tennessee at 2. I got Shedeur Sanders going to the Giants at 3. I got Will Johnson, corner, Michigan, going to the Raiders. And Will Campbell, LSU OT, going to the Patriots. So I got Travis Hunter, the number 1 pick in the draft. I just think he could have went number 1 last year. Shit, he may have been able to go number 1 the last 3 years. That's how good he is. I got Cam Ward from Miami going to Tennessee with the 2nd pick. I got Shedeur with the Giants. Now, will the Cowboys try to move up to the 3rd pick? The Giants, the Cowboys may be in that 3 hole. I think the Cowboys may be at the 6th pick. Would they move up 3 picks to get Shedeur? I don't know. I'm hit or miss on Sanders. Okay? I'm hit or miss. I'm with you, Yale. Both quarterbacks. I don't know. Sales Panay Sewell or Mulata. It's a great one. How about this? Whoever you take, I'll take. All right? Hey, whoever you take, I'm good with. Guys, you guys have been absolutely sensational. Thank you guys so much, man. Tomorrow's a Football Friday. I'll give you my prediction. Rams and Eagles, Sunday Night Football. We got a big weekend coming up. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Awesome. Guys were great. Big Z, Xander, we appreciate it so much. Go, Jacob, go. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.